that has to do with a woman. And it has to be something that has to do with kids.
Yeah.
It has to be something to do with somebody other than yourself. You know what I mean?
So you're not married, are you?
No, I'm not married at all. Yeah, I'm not married at all. Like, I have girlfriends. You know what I mean? And eventually I plan to get married, but the problem is that there's something in the water in the United States that prevents a woman to act in the benefit of a man. And I don't know about you, but me as a man, I need time to think. Like, I become most productive when I could think.
Yeah.
And when I could think, I could conceptualize a lot of my ideas. Like, I can find solutions to the problems that I face the next day. But when you come into a house and you have to listen to someone's bitching, you have to pander to someone's emotion, you have to, it's okay for you to talk and I listen, but there's only so much time you can do this stuff, you know what I mean? Like after a while, I have to punch out. And then I have to get to other things. And a lot of people find that very once that is true. Hello? Hello? Patrick Queen loved the matchup when he saw it one-on-one. Joe Burrow loved the matchup. Yes. Gesicki open is like a wide receiver. Watch Orlando bring out here in pass protection. Okay. No one get near Joe Burrow. But Burrow sees the one-on-one with Gesicki against Queen. Loves the matchup, as does Gesicki. So what year is the Toyota? What? Okay, what's the problem? Yes, I told him to swap into the 2017 because I don't even know why he needs to swap. He says that he needs to buy insurance and stuff like that. I don't understand. I thought Chugo provided insurance. You know? Yes, the vehicle is fine. I just came back from a trip yesterday and I just sent him documentation. Everything is fine. Yes, because what I told him is that he doesn't want that vehicle. He could just cancel and just, book the 2017. That's all I told him. That's all I told him. Okay? Sounds good. Something they've done over the years is starting to impact more this season. There's Hubbard now, fullback. On YouTube, I would like to live stream because I don't know what we might talk about that I might need to say. Or what I'm going to say that is going to be a good idea that I can use towards something meaningful, you know what I mean? Yeah. And not only that, we're getting older, we're not going to be on this planet forever. Sometimes it's just, I think George Jefferson, if he could, go back and think and if you ask the founding fathers of the United States what they wanted the most, they would have wished they had a camera in the room. Second and goal. As my youth, like it's nothing to us now, they would kill.
Have you seen Hamilton?
Yeah, I've seen Hamilton.
Do you know what the part where they say no one knew what was going on in the room?
Exactly, yeah. So that's what that alludes to, you know what I mean? So a lot of people really don't know, and a lot of people take a lot for granted these days. And every day I wake up and ask myself, how can I not take what's going on in my life for granted right now? Because anything is possible tomorrow, you know what I mean? So, I just keep asking myself, how can I make the most of right now? So that tomorrow, when I look back, I said I made the best decision. So these are some of the things that I think about. And I find out that a lot of young men are not thinking about that. They're not thinking in the moment, and they're not planning for the future. They think for the future, and they plan for the moment. You know what I mean? So these are Cincinnati Bengals. Are they any good?
They were the first year. But we'll see how if they can keep Burrow healthy.
Okay, so there's a star player that
his quarterback, Young. He's from Ohio.
And on the step up, allows his receiver to get a second, third reaction move downfield and find themselves open.
I've got pictures of laying on the 50-yard line in the middle.
Yeah. No one picks him up as he crosses into the middle.
You have a picture of yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, really? That's nice. I never fancied sports, man. I was just a guy that I believe in activity. I like to participate. I don't like to watch.
Yeah.
You know, just like everything in my life, you know.
I've never been to a Bengals game.
It's
too expensive.
There's probably fans.
It's expensive.
And there's a lot
I got a buddy that's probably there right now.
There's a lot of rich people in like Cincinnati. It's a lot of like.
Come see the Royal Caribbean.
Let me clean my screen.
I got a buddy of mine who's probably right now. But he buys and sells classic cars.
Oh yeah?
He's got.
You know I fix up cars, right? That's what I do. Oh nice. Nice. Wow.
He just picked up.
There's this family called the 3F family. I think they live in Cincinnati too. They're like a billionaire family.
He's originally from Pittsburgh.
3F?
The fragrance destination.
Where at?
3F, you know the 3F collection? They're like a YouTube channel. It's like a billionaire and his son. They have all kinds of exotic cars. They have like about close to $100 million in like exotic cars. They have like all the Bugattis, they have the Rimac, Rivera, they have everything.
They got the expensive.
Everything that's coming out, they have it. They have
And
the
they're in Cincinnati?
Yeah, they have the SP2, they have the SP1, they have all kinds of stuff. They have the Bugatti Chiron, they have all of it.
Yeah, you gotta be wealthy to drive that at all.
When I was younger, my calling was to play football. But as I grew older, I realized life isn't about how many people you can
You should see where they keep their cars. It's like,
I'll say, where's it at in Cincinnati?
what's that?
He keeps his cars in Cincinnati?
He
Just keeps them all.
has a castle. And then there's a portion of the castle just dedicated to a house. It's like a building dedicated to storing the cars. Like if you get in there, it's like a man cave. It's a mansion that is a man cave that stores cars.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, you should look them up. They're on YouTube. 3F collection. You know? Yeah.
Look.
So yeah, you know, like me not wanting to get married is intentional. It's, yeah, I don't care, man. You know? I have a girlfriend. I always told her that I was polygamous, you know, because of who my grandfather is and my lineage. And I come from descendants of polygamists. My dad couldn't afford to be a polygamist because of, cost. And he stayed monogamous, but deep down I think he regrets it. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I believe that the investment that my dad made with my mom, he never got the investment back. That led to one conclusion, right? And most women are bad investments. And I'm not the only one that ever said this. Like the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, what's his name? Gimon, whatever.
I've been in one of their buildings.
You know what I'm talking about?
Defunct. In Detroit.
What's his name again? Oh man, he's a very popular guy. And they asked him why he's not married, and he gave the whole breakdown of why he's better off renting than, owning. Jimmy Diamond, yeah. He was the Jimmy Diamond, they call him. Yeah. So he's a single guy. I think he's in the world, and I think the girl stopped him once and was talking about how she's worth this and she's worth that, and then he started breaking it down to her how she's a bad investment. Because first of all, like, he's got to get ready for a date, it's going to cost him something. He's got to send the car, it's going to cost him something. Then take care of his things, then listen to her. Meanwhile, all this time, if you calculate his worth as a human being and how much he gets compensated to perform a year, he's losing significant amount of money just going on a date with that woman.
Now they always say nowadays, it's not an investment for men to get married.
I think it's a net loss.
Yeah.
It's a net loss. I've never had a girlfriend that brought more than she took. I've never had such a person.
I've been blessed with a good wife.
I'm happy for. Listen,
Yeah,
I have nothing against people that have a good woman. We all want good women. We wish that for other people. We wish that for ourselves. But the truth is that there's too many people on this planet, and the bad ones are in significantly high proportion. The possibility of you running into a good one is very low. And you see, I believe that women live on a spectrum, right? According to this guy called CGA, there's a guy who preaches like the Philippine lifestyle. The men should just be free and acquire financial leverage before going into any kind of relationship with a woman. Like that, you believe that the problem today is that most men are trying to be loved by women. Women want to be right, men want to be loved. That's the problem we have in society today. It's just like, why is he right about that? Is that a lot of men, when you get into an argument with a woman, she's not arguing to see your perspective or see your point. She wants to be right. The man just wants to be loved and just left alone. Because there's just a few things that men seek. It's just peace, freedom, and quiet. That's all they want. The peace is what everybody should want. Freedom, no man wants to be tied down to anyway. If not, you're a slave. And the quiet is just needed for productivity. You cannot be productive when it's rowdy and noisy and there's so much turmoil and disturbance, I've never seen anybody live in a house in a hurricane, You know what I mean? So, yeah, so that's the whole idea. So,
and I really think that Russell Wilson is playing the most deep-control first half.
They still chose to keep Russell Wilson? I heard he's been playing poorly lately. He's been horrible. And people are blaming that wife of his, the attention-seeking wife of his. People are like, he should have just went and got a white girl. I don't know, that's what everybody does. You go get a white girl, she gives you peace, she understands the game, she's groomed for this, she was raised to be a wife, or find a black woman that was raised to be a wife. Don't just wife up anybody just because of looks and, you know what I mean, presumed status. Women don't have status compared to men of this caliber. I mean, who would Bill Gates marry that matches his status as a woman? If you really want to do the whole power couple thing that women run around talking about, I don't want to bore you with this stuff. You're in a happy marriage, so you don't have anything to worry about. Trust me, single guys like me, we deal with a lot of bullshit in the sexual marketplace. You have all these listen, most women are underwhelming. And they don't meet men that tell them this person. Most women are underwhelming. I would say 60 to 70% of women are underwhelming. Another 40 to 30%, or I want to say 40 to 30 to 20% are at the right proclivity, or they're at the right level. They're just right there at average. Right? And then there's about, I want to say, another 5% to 8% that are a little bit above average. Then there's about 0.1 to 3% that are really up there, out of this world, top notch, 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10. You see what I'm saying? When I'm saying this, take off your makeup, fresh face out of the shower. A lot of women are not intimidating, they're not as what they think they are. You know what I mean? They're just basic, less than basic, underwhelming creatures. Because look at you, look at me as a man. You didn't put on any makeup coming out here. You just have your balls and your wallet. That's all you got. You know what I mean? You just put on some clothes. At the end of the day, when you strip down to it, all you are is your brain and your body as a man. And they can take away everything you have, put you on any part of the world, and you make something happen. You know what I mean? There are women I know, if you took away their makeup, shit. They'll call the cops on you, man.
That's funny.
I really thought this was going to be my year.
If only they were backups in real life. But at least there's Progressive to protect your home and auto.
Carry your losses. Here's your call. There it is.
business card. With no
Because I'll tell you another thing, right? Outside your social circle, as far as work-wise, right? Outside your social circle, as far as it has to do with work, you will notice that a lot of men don't have this strong need to bond with other men, financially, socially, family-wise, otherwise. They don't have that strong need. Like, you're more likely to get a conversation that leads somewhere out of a random stranger than someone that you meet every day. Like, say a guy in your building where you work. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have that follow-up.
Right.
You know, most men don't have that follow-up because they have no plan. They don't have a vision for their life. So because of that, they don't see a relationship or even an interaction with another man as useful. They find more use interacting with a woman, which is the worst investment according to the CEO of Chase. You know what I mean? Because I think a lot of women still struggle with it that all men want is sex. You know, and most men lie to themselves every day and, oh baby, I love you, I want you, I need you for the rest of my life. And you know, 2 years into the relationship, most are tired of having sex with the same woman. But men are good people overall. Men are very good people.
Yeah.
They still stick around. He might go out there and get him a little bit of publicity, you know what I'm saying? You know, he might get him some peace leave somewhere. You know, he might dabble and dibble, hit the strip club, do this and that. But at the end of the day, she's home. And she comes back to him. And she doesn't want her doing anything associated with this other world. She wants her to just ignore this world and leave it alone. I'll give you an example. The other day, it was Thanksgiving. I had one of my girlfriends. She calls me and asks, send me pictures and stuff like that. So I posted a picture of a surprise party that I went to. Sent her on YouTube. I sent it to her. And she watches it. She liked the video. And then the next day, I had planned to meet with this pretty young lady, you know what I mean? So I told her, can we see on Saturday? Because I was going to take the whole of Friday to hang out with this other lady. She calls me after this lady's gone. I thought maybe she came to my place and my doorman told her that, he's calling somebody, you know what I'm saying? And she calls me crying. I was like, what's the problem? I thought she started saying things that were similar to what you could have heard if you just put your ear to the door. But then later I found out that she went on my Snapchat and saw something I did 3 months ago. Because she doesn't watch my Snapchat anymore, I think. And I don't think I have her as a friend. But apparently Snapchat unlocked my videos and now everybody can view it. I guess if you post so much videos, after a certain point they share your video with anybody. And God, did she see it in her iPhone, and then she calls me crying. I told her, listen, I'm one guy in your life right now that tells you the truth all the time. At least I don't lie to you. I'm honest. You can go out there and play with the angel you don't know, or you can stick with the devil you know. And you know what? And then I told her that these girls are just for fun. It's nothing serious. Look at her. I invest into her life. I take care of her. I make sure she's good. I guide her. I point her in the right direction. If she wants to throw that away, be my guest. But the truth is that I look out for her. And this life here and this life here, two separate things, and she tries to shame me, women, that's all women have, shame, insult, guilt, they need to be right. That's why I keep telling you that women want to be right, men want to be loved. That's just how it is. So, and you could even break that down and say, not just right, women are in business and men are in love, you know what I mean? Because you find out when you get to that divorce court, the person you married is not who you meet at the divorce court. So the thing about it is, so I told her this, and the thing about it is that I don't want to waste anybody's life and time. I want to be honest. Because I believe that the older I get, the more I realize. There was one thing that I heard from this guy. He said the most masculine thing a man could do is be honest. And I promised myself, after I passed a certain financial threshold, that I would never lie to any woman again in my life. You know what I mean? Even if it costs me everything I own, I'm going to tell her the truth. But of course, you can withhold information. Having secret is part of being a human being. You don't never tell a woman everything, because the same information you give to her, she'll use on you. A divorce court should use it you. A breakup should use it you. It's just for civil
When
suit.
she not
I mean, look at
happy,
P.
yep.
Diddy. Look at what he's going through. You know, you should always have a part of your life that is yours. That no
Yep.
matter who comes in, no matter how much they pretend, they never know this side of you, you know? So, you know, I just told her the truth, and she's like, oh, I'm going to come pick up my things, you know? I said, come, go ahead, no problem. You know, and I've been actually pushing her to try. I said, go try other people. Go see what's out there. And I really don't think you're a man till you're able to. I think there's two things that makes a man a strong man and a dangerous man. The ability to turn down sex, like tell a woman no, even when you feel like it, right?
Yep.
And the ability to let her go. You know what I'm saying? Tell her, hey, go out there, go see. There's gold and diamonds out there. You know, go see the grass is green, purple,
like, yep.
you know, full of nitrogen and fresh out there. You know, go see
Cow
the quality.
shit.
Yeah, go see the quality of elephant grass out there. You know what I mean? So that's what I told her that. You know, I was like, you know, tell me, even your father. Ever since you came, have you met anybody that put more into your life than me? Even I'm up there above your father. Like, you know, she's like, no. I'm like, so you want to throw all this away just because I had sex with another woman? I told her, listen, you're not going to control my life. You could control everything in my world except my dick. That I have ownership to, because I was throttling, you know, peacefully before I met you, and I'm gonna keep doing this till the day I die. Like, I mean, I even gave her an example. I'm like, look at the 91-year-old that married Anna Nicole Smith. He was pushing out kids. You know, that's the beautiful part about being a man. This thing is forever. As a man, you can have kids till the day you die. And check it out, right? There's a show on Netflix that even shows that, do you know a man can still have a hard-on even after he's dead?
Yep. Or in a car accident.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So you know, I tell a lot of guys, right? For you, some of you guys listening to me, don't get married till you have financial leverage, man. Don't believe her. You know, I'm gonna build with you. I'm gonna do this with you. Women don't build anything; they move in. You know what I mean? That's just the truth. I mean, you could gamble it and you end up in divorce court. You know, I'm not sending you no lawyer fee. So that's been my experience. But other than that, I'll tell you this much. The more the more financial leverage I acquire, the more beautiful the dating marketplace is as a single guy. You know, and it makes it a scary thought to get married. You know what I mean?
Yeah, then it doesn't seem so appealing.
Oh, today? Jesus fucking Christ, man. You don't want to know what's going on here, trust me. So I see some of my guys, you know, getting engaged, getting excited. I'm like, give it some time.
Make sure, yep.
Because one of the ways I live my life is this, right? I think of what I want. I go find someone that has it, that is older, 55, 65, 75. And I see how they enjoyed holding that thing for so long. You see, and every time I went and did my research, the one thing that all of them never loved holding for so long was one woman.
That's true.
Especially if they don't have a good one. If you have a good one, sure. Let's be real. Most women just they tolerate their wives. Let's be real. As much as they love her, it's 70% tolerance, 30% love. You know what I mean? And as much as they want to, you know, preach all this rubbish, about how women love their kids more and women love more, that's not true. Men love more than everybody. Because think about what would it take for someone to wake up every day, go to work, provide, buy a house, put people in it that are not his relatives, and keep waking up every morning and making it happen. That's dedication. That's more than love. You know, that's why I tell people love is not real. You really want somebody to like you. Love is a Hollywood production. What is love really? It's not tangible. Because you love me, I'm supposed to like sacrifice everything and, you know, give up my access to other women, give up my financial,
right.
You know what I mean? Give up all this stuff just because you said you love me, and you could be lying, and I could find out 10 years down the line that it's a big lie. I would rather end up as Madoff. You know what I'm saying? I might take my chances.
That's what they say nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
take it, I underhand it, and I throw it down there. No problem. Ball will get away
So
from
that's just the reality of
This
that.
is a really good cigar.
This is good, yeah. Yeah, this is good. It's very chill. It's not very heavy. It's not like some of it. Your head is dizzy already. You know,
That's a Cohiba.
there's a lot of stuff in there.
I've got a Cohiba back at place. And
Well, you have a
I
Cohiba
got
back at your
I
place.
got a
Cohiba's strong.
yeah.
Sheesh.
It's not one that you just go and smoke.
Your point on Ross last night. He made the point. We're at the point of the season when we find out who we are. We embrace that.
Yeah, the first time I'd had one, I got pretty buzzed.
Cohiba.
Yeah, a buddy of mine flies in and out all over the world.
Mm.
He picks them up and
Oh shit.
brings them back, and he's like, "Yeah, just try this." Man, I tell you what, I was like, "You sure that's what's in here?" I'm not even sure that's the back grade. I was like, "Holy crap!"
Oh my goodness, man. Yeah. There was a time in my life I used to collect cigars. I had quite a few, about 30 different types. You know, but it was such an expensive, habit, and not only that, it's time intensive. You gotta like make sure the humidity and everything. You know, so it's almost like growing a plant. But at the end of the day, you don't end up with no plant.
Well, if you don't take care of it, yeah, that's an expensive hobby.
I can't say some of them because they weren't necessarily complimentary, but they were very descriptive.
So yeah.
Go save so much money on home and auto personal price plans.
It seems like there's this effort to like feminize men, you know, like with the whole new Jaguar commercial, like I don't know if you see that. Like they always try on new ads to have men doing all these feminine things, things that are considered feminine in nature, and not just and doing like that is okay, but trying to get them to act like that too is like something else,
I don't, the thing I have a hard time with around here is people just aren't social.
And nah,
It's crazy how nobody talks.
people are standoffish, like
It's like, and I don't know if women around here are thinking that if they talk to you, you're hitting on them.
I think the landscape has changed. Women are scared that if they give a man attention, that means invite. So they're very selective of who they want to give the slightest of attention to. But
Right.
you know why that is very confusing? Because now when she meets a guy she wants, now if that guy does not reciprocate, she becomes very hostile. You know what I mean? So. And then the whole thing gets lost in translation because he just thinks he's being nice to you because women are always like this towards him. So that's why it's a farce to go get a guy that every woman is attracted to and tell him to be monogamous. That's ludicrous. You know what I mean? The same thing that attracted you to him is going to attract a million other women to him. You know what I mean? When you were at your prime, you probably wouldn't want this guy. Most 21-year-olds wouldn't want that guy when he was 21, but now he's a 40-year-old, 45, 50-year-old, attractive, multi-millionaire, and now you find him very attractive. You know? Because all these women that are even attracted to, like, say, someone like Bill Gates, Elon Musk, they would not touch him while he was in college. You know what I mean? They would not even, like, give him a chance of the day. Oh, the Ice Bucket Challenge. Oh, this was back in the day. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, so you went over there. Uh-oh. Marriage is a joke, with a modern woman. It's a good thing if you're traditional. It's a joke if you're modern. Uh-oh. Where are you?
I was in there.
Oh, you.
Right here.
Oh, okay. You're all the way around. So you guys this is the Bengal Stadium? Oh, okay. Nice. Oh, 22. Oh, wow. Like 11 years ago.
Let's see that.
Uh-oh. Oh, shit. It's everybody at the same time.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Mm. Oh, my God. That is dope, though. That is nice. That is awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah. It was pretty cool.
That was cool. I mean, something like that in a brotherhood setting, that's awesome.
They took good care of us.
No, of course. It looks like you guys had fun.
Fun place.
I never, like, from the moment I stepped into the United States, right, coming from Africa, I never liked working for somebody else. I would rather work as a team. I'm a team player, but like, I don't know what it is about working for somebody that I never understood and never got used to. Because in Africa, right, as far as I know, my dad never worked for anybody extensively. The first chance my dad got, he became, a business owner. My mom worked for my dad, and she's a business owner.
Yeah.
So, I'll take it back to this, right? So, I'll take it back to this, right? I remember working at Walgreens. I remember this vividly, working at Walgreens and just standing there at the cash register and ringing up customers. And this was when I was trying to figure out if I wanted to go to like pharmacy. My dad was pointing me to go to pharmacy school, and I was thinking to myself, what do I really like about working? I hated it. I love making money, but the way, the means, the avenue, I hated it. I have to come in, punch in, and have to hear people's mouth about being there exactly at 8 o'clock. I didn't like any of that stuff.
Yep.
I wanted something that gave me the freedom I was used to in Africa. You know what I mean? And that was the beginning of my experimentation. I started trying different things. That was how I started flipping cars. I was walking down on Lawrence. I saw this Dodge Plymouth Neon that was on sale for like I think $1,000. I was able to, I think 1,500. I negotiated it down to $1,000. I was able to buy it with a friend of mine. Eventually, my dad bought him out. That was how I started, car
Really, off
flipping.
the
Yeah,
Dodge Neon.
yeah. That was the first car. That was the first car ever. You know what I mean? That was the first car ever.
You don't see any of those on the road now.
You know what? I saw a guy with a couple of, he brought back flashbacks. That was the first car I ever owned in the United States, a Plymouth Neon. And I banged that car up so much, eventually I had to get a whole body work. And then I had gone to this body shop on the south side of 59th Street, and these guys took advantage of me. I was new to the United States. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't know what quality body work looked like. So because of the year and nature of the car, I think it was 97, they just gave me a bullshit body work. You know what I mean? After a couple of weeks or months or something like that, the paint was peeling. I don't even think they did like primer, none of that stuff. They just sprayed the car, charged me like $700 and just bounced. Oh man, it was such an experience. But that started it all. You know what I mean? And having that kind of car then and today, like having a Maybach is just like, the American dream is alive, but you have to work. I just think back then, if you had to work 8 hours, now you have to work 18 hours to be able to get a piece of Americana and get that reality. You know what I mean? That you want, because they sell a lot of people on what America is. It's still that, but they don't sell them on the amount of labor you have to put in to achieve the same thing. You know what I mean? And I just think a lot of people don't get it. That's why a lot of people fall for the whole scam. Like for example, in the United States right now, a lot of people don't understand marriage is a business. They don't teach young men this, that marriage is a business. As much as you love her, as much as she loves you, if it goes south, you're gonna find out real quick who you're married to. You're not married to her, you're married to the state. And a lot of men don't know this. I had to go do my research to figure out why it is divorce is so rampant. You know what I mean? Is it that the men don't love the women? Is it that the women don't love the men? Is it that both don't love each other? And I start to find out is the incentive. Women are incentivized if they decide to leave.
That's American now.
You see what I'm saying? And that's why I advise a lot of young men, the ones that I mentor, have a lot of financial leverage significantly. Like if she makes 50,000, try to make 500,000, and then you can get married. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, if that divorce costs you 100,000, just charge it to the game. It's 20% of your net worth, so that's okay. You know what I mean? So, but a lot of guys won't listen. They buy into this pipe dream. House, white picket fence. Happy wife, happy life, all that stuff. At the end of the day, they find that at 65. I have my dad's friend. He's a pharmacist. I don't know if he's still alive right now. He lives in the old people's home. He worked for the corporate, giants, the major pharmaceutical companies, Walgreens, all these people. And then eventually he ventured off into owning his own pharmaceutical company. He had a storefront pharmacy. And his divorce happened at old age. I felt so sorry for him, man. And not only did he get divorced, his wife turned his kids against him. The highlight of his divorce was when one of his kids whooped his ass. He's an old man. You know what I mean? And a lot of people ask me why, they try to sell me on marriage and why it's such a beautiful thing. And they wonder why I'm not jealous of them, because I come from a marriage. I know what kind of marriage works and what kind of marriage doesn't. My grandfather, who was a polygamist, he didn't have no issues. Not with one of his wives. I mean, don't get me wrong, he wasn't issue-free, but he wasn't having the kind of drama and the kind of control that you see in monogamy, where one person believes they dominate and should be the dominating factor in your life. You know what I mean? As far as your money, your energy, your attention, and your time. They believe that they should dominate that. And I say no. You know what I mean? And that's why if you look at Arab countries, say what you want. The average modern American woman will tell you, oh, those Arab women, they're not happy. But I don't see them running to the United States. You know what I mean? I don't see them running over here. They're over there being taken care of. They like it that way. And then the funny thing is that when you give an American woman the same opportunity that they say they want, to work and because be dominant in the corporate world, they're very incompetent.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And you know why I say that? I say that as a general statement because it's more than 50%. More than 50, because if something is more than 50%, it's true. Like, for example, cigars are round. Don't tell me about all the square cigars and the spherical cigars. For the most part, they're round. You know what I mean? So, but you find people arguing those tangential arguments like, oh, you know what? I've seen this square one in Colombia, and I've seen this one that is triangular in Russia and stuff like that. Man, shut the fuck up. For the most part, this is how cigars look. You know what I mean? So what I say to a lot of young guys is this: like, just engage in less arguments. You know where you stand. You know the facts. Just like if you find yourself saying more than 3 sentences to make your point, you're already talking too much. Especially when it involves like male-female dynamics. Jeez, is he dead? Shit, that is bad. And the funny thing is that these guys are not very bulky, but I guess their flexibility and how small they are, it helps their recovery. But that was a bad hit. Jeez.
I went to a Colts
But he's good. He's good.
Yeah.
He's good. These guys are tough, man.
I went to a Colts game,
Yeah.
and they took us down on the field while they were playing. There was a play right in front of us, and a guy got hit. I was like, "There's no way I could do this. I would die out there."
I don't know. I'd rather put my son in the management side than in the field. You know what I mean? I know the football players, they get all the women, they get all the attention, they get they get the same. But man,
That's brutal.
Look at Coach Prime. He lost his right big toe.
Yeah.
Had to be cut off. Remember back in the 80s when he used to play two sports? He used to play baseball, and then he'll finish football, run over to the baseball. All that stuff hurt him real bad. But he's enjoying the success, but without a big toe.
And probably in a lot of pain.
Yeah, because he's always in and out of the hospital.
Yeah.
So.
That's the only bad part about it.
So at the end of the day, I don't know if it's worth it. You know what I mean? And that's, I think, in the United States, I'm going to speak in general right now. I think one of the lost art that is foundational to the United States as a country that made this country great is that most men don't want to go through the fire to build their own business anymore. Because if you go back to the glory days of the United States, even the black community, right? What made the black community great at first was their ability to congregate, not segregate, not what is the other term? Integrate.
Yeah.
Not integration, not segregation, but congregation. Let me give you an example of congregation. In the Asian community, right? Everywhere they go, they build a Chinatown. So in Chinatown, their money circulates in there. So now, let's say you have a Vietnamese person that cooks, say, fried rice next door, and then there's another Vietnamese restaurant down the street that cooks it, and let's say business is good for one of the guys, and business is kind of good but slow for the other guy. In certain situations, because of the ability to congregate, this guy runs out of rice. He can run down to this guy and say, "Hey, let me have a couple of bags. I'll upsell it to me. I'm going to return it once I get my shipment, and I'm going to pay you XYZ above sticker price." You know what I mean? To incentivize you to let go of. People don't understand business no more. That's the bottom line of what I'm saying. People think segregation will solve their problem or integration. Black kids sitting next to white kids in a classroom would not do them any good if they go back to bad homes. Black kids staying away from white kids will not do them any good if they go back to bad homes. But black kids that come from good homes where their parents are willing to do the work and congregate with other black kids that come from good homes where their parents are doing the work, they get the full benefit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So people, I always tell people these days.
It works that way for everything.
It does. It does. It does. It does. And that's one of the things I tell people these days. Like, the present is not. I think racism is something of the past now, for the most part. Because if you look at the super rich, they don't practice racism. They're all in bed with each other. I mean, look at Mike Zuckerberg. He was pushing Kamala Harris' agenda as soon as the election, and he went and shook hands with Trump. So, but poor people don't get this because even in our world today, it's not well defined. People don't know the difference between being poor and being broke. Broke can be fixed. Poor is going to take a lot of reading and change your mindset. You know what I mean? So a lot of people don't know that difference. So the thing about it is that it's different now. I think it's classism. Classism is the new racism because people that have a certain amount of exceed a certain amount of tax bracket don't want to hang with people under their tax bracket, and for good reasons, of course. Like you see, like yourself, the day I met you, right? You were over there on the corner smoking your cigar, chilling. You don't want someone doing a drive-by close to there. You know what I mean? You don't want someone tossing garbage in front of you. You know what I mean? You don't want somebody coming over there to you while you're just having your moment of peace and harassing you just because you're having a long time. You know what I mean? Like, respect is gone. People don't understand it anymore. And the problem is that the parents are not defining it too. Like, the how do you say it? The modus operandi, the code, the code of interaction. There has to be a game plan, something that everybody's aligned with. Everybody teaches their kid. And hey, like back in the day, they used to tell you, don't take candy from a stranger. And this was something that was unanimous with all parents. All parents agreed on that, and they taught their kid that. Now, what is unanimous with most parents? There's no uniformity anymore. What is it that one parent tells their kid that every other parent is telling their kid? There's nothing really. Kids actually right now run off with strangers. Look at all these missing kids. Look at all these missing kids across the United States, you know? They're missing in Illinois. They find them in Arizona. They run off with a stranger, you know? So yeah.
Let me tell you, yesterday I was out there smoking a cigar
Mm-hmm.
in the homeless van. You know, the Chicago feeds the homeless.
Mm-hmm.
They come out and they're like, here, we got some food for you. I was like, they're like, no, we want you to have this. I said, I don't do that. I said, I probably need to give you money to help these people over here, but you're not going to.
Yeah, you're not gonna feed me. But you see, the thing about it is that tells you something about the state of society. Men are looked down upon. They saw you. They did not think about what was in your hand. They didn't think about the fact that you constructively sat down on a chair. The first inclination was that you were homeless. That tells you a lot. Now think about it. Let's say a woman was sitting down there on the same chair, painting her nails. Do you think they would offer her some food?
No. It was pretty humbling.
It's crazy, you know.
Uh-oh.
Let me tell you something. I've had a harder time in my life, right, trying to get a bunch of men to come together, not so that we could pool our resources together, so that we could just talk about money. Because I think when it comes to manhood, right, for you to carry it on or exhibit it in today's world successfully, you have to be financially stable. I've had a stronger pushback trying to get a bunch of men to come into the same room, sit down, like how you and I are sitting right now, and just talk about money. Don't give me no dollar. I won't give you no dollar. We just share knowledge about what we know and what we're informed about. And eventually, the truth that information is power will play out. You can grab some information and you can fuck off with it and go do as you please. But they don't want to do that. They rather stunt on each other, show each other how much well they're doing better than each other, you know, move into relationships with the wrong information. Like, if most men knew the truth behind the social system in this country, like especially like how it pertains to marriage and divorce and all, they would not make a lot of moves that they make. But you know, most men learn about divorce and marriage in divorce court. You understand what I'm saying? I went and did my due diligence before. You know, I had a young lady, she was asking me to marry her, right? And then I told her I need her to come with me so that we could do a genealogy, phenotype, blood group, and blood type test. And she's like, what is that? People are marrying people today without knowing their blood type, their blood group, their phenotype, their genotype, and they don't know nothing about these people. And these are the people that come to me and want to talk to me about marriage. I'm like, motherfucker, shut up and sit down. I come from a long lineage of married people. I come from, seriously, until my father, there's never been monogamy in my family. Never. My father is the first person that ever practiced monogamy in my lineage. Mind you, my lineage has, for the most part, as far as we know, has never been broken. It's just that there's always a lot of war in Africa, so there's like missing documentation and stories and stuff like that. But for the most part, everything is tied in. You know what I mean? And most people don't want to hear this. Most people don't want to hear this. You know, like I said, I'm going to repeat again. If you have a good woman, more power to you. You know, I hope the wind is behind your back. I wish you all the best. But in the world today, based on what popular media and propaganda they're pushing out, they're not pushing men in front. They're pushing men behind, in the back somewhere. Yeah. Actually, Harvard did a test study where they asked women where they ranked men in their priority list, right? Men were number 7. Traveling was number 1. Yeah. Education was number 2. So many other things. Even their dog was right above a man. And these are the people that men go put first. Yep.
Yeah, I got a buddy that's he got married early, divorced, and hasn't been married since. He says it's not worth it.
And I bet you he's living his best life right now. He probably got a 911. He probably bought all the toys he ever wanted.
He just kind of does his thing.
Yeah.
You know, he took care of his kid till he got, grown. And now he just kind of does his own thing. You know, I wish he'd get out more.
I mean, I asked one of my friends. He owns a house that is almost $1 million in Frankfort, Illinois. So I asked this guy, "What's your take on marriage? What would you advise? Would you advise me to get married?" He said to me, "If I had to do it again, I won't. I enjoy it right now. I'm glad I'm in it, but it's not worth it." This is a married man that is currently married. That he said it's not worth it. You know what I mean? And then I asked him, "What about buying a house?" He told me, like, the benefits of buying a house is just that you own it, you get to enjoy it, you have your own space, and other than that, it's not a good investment.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, forget about all this nonsense they sell you on TV and stuff like that. It's not. If you just want your own space and you can afford it, do it.
Yeah. That's why, I'm very, I'm that way. That's why I won't sell my home back in northern Kentucky. I just got exactly what I want there.
That's it.
Got a creek in the back.
I don't even get it. Someone like Warren Buffett, he's lived in the same house ever since before he even became a mega billionaire. And people out here buying multiple homes across multiple states, and it's not even like a super real estate investment. Like, you really want to pick up $1,300 from somebody? Just buy a fucking Lexus and put it on Turo. You could get that money every month, But they lie to people about this equity thing, and people don't do the math about economic upturns and downturns, and they lose their ass. Like, look at what happened in 2008. It was those people buying into the old American dream that the boomers benefited from. It's not coming back anymore. Hey, for most of you guys listening, what the boomers experienced is not coming back. And we're not going to have that experience again. People always think that they're going to, have the whole G.I. Joe, GI Bill effect with what real estate did for the boomers. I don't think that's coming back. If you're lucky, you find a market that is undervalued and you benefit from that, but it's not widespread.
Right, not anymore.
It's not everywhere. It's in little pockets. Maybe you go to like Oklahoma, the poorest state in the union, and then you get lucky. You buy a house somewhere, a couple of houses, then there's gentrification, and then you come up on value. That's about it. That's about it. But you see, some of these things, you cannot find this out unless you're an avid reader, conversationalist, someone that watches podcasts, someone that engages other men. Back in the day, how most men got their information was interacting with other men. They sit down, they talk, they get,
bars
that's why bars were so popular, you know what I mean? Because men sat down, whatever it is, whether they were talking about, women, whether they were talking about money, they had somewhere they could come and congregate. You see, it comes back to the same thing I was talking about. Congregation is, even the church has to congregate. Ever since they started doing live streaming, it's not the same anymore.
Yeah.
It's not the same anymore. But nobody would tell them. You know what I mean? Nobody would tell, because why?
Hobbies. And my wife supports me in everything I do. She doesn't get on me about smoking
cigars. That is great.
She doesn't.
She lets you be you.
She doesn't. Here, let me show you one of my. I like plants. Like I'm ate up with plants. Like my next house is gonna have an auditorium in it.
Your apartment, your unit must be the one facing the lake. Are you facing the lake?
I've got mine faces south, so I get all the sun.
So south. Okay. There's an apartment that I see that has like plants everywhere.
I know. No, I wish it was. I've probably got just as many in mine. I've got my wife. Every time she comes up, she's like, "What? My God, these plants are." I just love it. But this is kind of funny. This is what the kind of stuff she supports me in. If I could find something here.
No, he decided not to.
Oh, okay.
So I live in a subdivision.
Oh, you want to be an agriculturalist or whatever they
My
call it.
family were farmers.
Oh, that's good.
But
That's one of my biggest dreams, to
I've
become
got one of these in my garage
to
in a
become
subdivision.
Oh, that's nice. Do you use it for anything, or it's just there? You just like looking at parades. Oh man, you're a weird one, man.
I know.
You know what would benefit a guy like you is having a property on a farmland. Oh, nice. Oh, that's nice.
But my grandpa had one. That's what I enjoy. I enjoy tractors and my truck. I got an old Ford truck.
I mean, it's in your DNA, kind of,
I like that kind of stuff.
Because the DNA holds like memory cells. You know what I mean? So some of the things that your parents enjoyed, you have okay. Oh, you have a beautiful wife on your hands. And she seems like a farm girl too. Like she likes the same kind of stuff. You know.
She supports it.
That
She
helps.
goes to tractor shows.
That helps.
She goes.
That helps. Even if she doesn't like it, she comes.
I want another one. She's like, let's just think about it. We don't have room right here. I don't want to put another tractor in the garage. I'd like to park my car in the garage in the winter.
Especially like when they're not being used for, it's just like a hobby or something or that. Yeah. That's one big dream that I have. Actually, running an industrial or commercial scale farm in Africa. Eventually, that's what I want to do. Because my goal here is to push this business that I'm doing right now to a commercial level, maybe 40, 80 cars, and then after that, my goal is to open up a dealership where we could rent/sell cars, and then have a body shop, and eventually mechanic shop, and then a junkyard.
You want to do that here in Chicago?
I don't care where I do it, but anywhere that sales will not be slowed down. You know what I mean? So I want to have the dealership/car rental business in same location with the junkyard, the body shop, and the mechanic shop, and then that will run it as a conglomerate. You know what I mean? And then that way, if the rental cars and the cars at the car dealership need parts, we have our junkyard. If they need mechanic and body work, we'll have, so it's a full circle kind of
somebody run
exactly enterprise, and then I could just go do my farming, in peace.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that's my plan. Because in Africa, where I come from, we have a lot of land. My dad owns a lot of land, so I could use that land to, carry a lot of stuff.
Now you're an only child?
I'm an only child.
Yeah, so you got all that coming.
Yeah, so I have a lot of work to do. Like one of the most profound things my dad said to me was like, "Hey, you know how life works? Don't bank on what I have. Go get yours. I'm not gonna be on this planet forever. Eventually, when I pass on, everything I have is gonna be yours, in addition to what you've acquired for yourself." And I hold that in front of my memory. You know what I mean? So I don't think of what my dad. Seriously, I've never thought about anything my dad owns. You know what I mean? So because I run the same. Yeah, I run the same business with my dad. He runs the same business in New York. My dad came to this country in 1988. He worked for Rush. He did a bunch of stuff, hustles there and there. And then eventually ended up becoming a taxi driver and drove taxi for a long time, and then started a taxi big company and limo and all that kind of stuff. So he's done that for years, used it to accomplish a lot. My dad is the kind of person, he believes in like human capital, so he gave a lot of people scholarship to go to universities and stuff like. So now I have like cousins and nephew, uncles and stuff like that. They're like doctors, they work in the Port Authority, they're lawyers, all kinds of stuff, police. So he's happy with that. So I told him, now it's time for you to enjoy yourself. So I told him, why don't you join me in this business? So you do run it in New York, I run it here in Chicago. And we just slowly but surely just grow the business. Because the business has a lot of potential for growth. They have people making like, I just came back from the summit, the conference for the car rental business. There was a guy there, he was making like $25 million a year. He owns 1,400 cars. There's another guy there, he has 300 cars. He makes $2.5 million a year. So there's potential, depending on the team you have around you and how you run it. Exactly. So I'm very keen on surrounding myself with people that are productive, because I found out that unproductive people they destroy because they cannot produce, so they destroy.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And if you look around the country, that's the same story everywhere. The people destroying are not the people that can build. It's the people that cannot create anything. So they focus on destruction because they don't have any other skill.
Nope, that's very true. Who's next? Is it?
Hello?
There it is right there.
I'm doing great.
Really put an emphasis on anything that looks like
What's up?
a gut motion or gut play. They're going to crack down and give it that. A lot of times these guys are just even after Christmas figured out.
Yes. Yes, sir. Okay, I'm coming. I'll see you later at the restaurant, okay? And I will take care of it, okay? All right. Bye bye. Yeah. So I've grown my outreach in the Chicagoland area. That's why I came over out from Chicago, because I've grown enough tentacles here. I'm tied into a lot of stuff. I'm tied in with a lot of dealership, trucking companies, body shop, mechanic shops, other car rental owners, businessmen, people that do, not on the high level, but on the level where I'm at or a little bit higher. So it doesn't make sense for me to just up and move to a different city.
Right.
Like one time, my uncle, he's a billionaire. He lives out in Las Vegas. He owns the Las Vegas Pen Institute. If you look him up, he was the guy that he was on the news one time in the United States. So he invited me to come out to Vegas and do something with him, but I wasn't in the right mindset then. Then I was like a bottom level hustler. I was trying to come up so hard. I was working real hard to get somewhere in life, to figure out what it is I could do with my life, my time. You know what I mean? So yeah, exactly. So I didn't want to show up to him and have no value to offer. So I was like, Uncle, let me go back to Chicago and just get my stuff together. So now that I've gotten myself somewhat together, now I'm ready to interact with him, because next time I show up, I not only have value to add, but I know how to articulate myself on what I want. You know what I mean? Because sometimes that sells you short when you don't know how to talk about or talk constructively what it is people can help you with.
Right.
Because sometimes people want to help you, but they don't know how to help you. You know what I mean? Like the guys that showed up trying to give you food, like they don't know that's not what you want. You see, they're trying to help you in a way that you don't want to be helped. They could have brought you some cigars. That would help. You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? So that's the problem we have. A lot of people trying to help people in the ways that would not benefit them. So, and they will swear they were helping you out. They'll be like, oh man, one of them probably go home telling a story. Man, I saw this one white guy. He was just down and bad and out. I offered him food, but for some reason, maybe he just ate a few minutes ago. He just rejected the food. You know what I mean? That makes for a great story. You know what I mean?
I told my wife, I said, I don't know what. I said, I don't know if it was how I was dressed, if it was the ratty ass chair I was sitting.
It's just Chicago. You know what I mean? Like, this city is such a funny place. You really cannot tell who's down bad and from who's, because there's some homeless people that are well dressed, and there's some down bad people that are, like there's some, people that are doing well that look homeless. So, and not only that, they're just trying to blend in. Like there's some people that they got it, they don't feel the need to look the part. They just they're used to a certain habit. Like if you go to, like, say, I'll use Silicon Valley as an example. People like Mike Zuckerberg, they grew up just knowing to wear sweatshirts, hoodies, and just look rough. So even as they even grew in their billions, they still, their default setting is the same thing. That T-shirt with jogging pants and sneakers. So the only difference now is that the sneakers is Gucci, the tracksuit is Louis Vuitton. You know what I mean? The T-shirt maybe is like $1,000 T-shirt, and they have a Rolex watch, or maybe a Patek Philippe or something like that. That's just about it. But for the most part, they're still the same person. You know what I mean? And they still haven't understood that it's okay to be rich now. It's okay. You go enjoy yourself. And society does not encourage men to do that. They encourage you, once you have money, go take care of a woman, go get a child, go get a family. You know what I mean? Go help other people. No, don't enjoy yourself. That's not what real men do. Real men go get a single mother and take care of her and her kids, or go get a woman, get her pregnant, have kids, and make sure that they're living la vida loca. Nobody, think about it. Ever since you were born, have someone ever told you what you're supposed to do for yourself once you succeed? Once they get to the story about the part where you succeed, they default to jump into you helping other people. It's always that way.
Yep.
That's
True.
that's the default setting. They just yeah. Once you finally make the money, you become a billionaire. You go get married, you get a kid, you get this and stuff. You make sure the college trust fund is good. Listen, they never tell you about the part where you get a 911 GT3 RS. They never tell you that part. They never tell you the part where you get a private jet. They never tell you the part where you travel the world. They never tell you the part where you make friends in high places, or the men of valuable that have valued skills and stuff. They never tell you those things. They never tell you to congregate with other men that know what they're doing in life, that are well accomplished, how to build network, go to conferences, build friendship. They never tell you this stuff. They just tell you, no, you've done enough.
Where was this conference you went to?
Oh, it was in Arizona.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
It was in Arizona. Yeah.
It sucks to come back here. Huh?
Oh man, Arizona was beautiful, man. I enjoyed every part of it. I went to the strip club. That was my every city I go to, I try to see the women. You know what I mean? I went downtown. I walked around. When I was tired of walking around, I went to the game. The Phoenix Suns were playing. I went to the bars. The thing about Arizona is this: like, Arizona is like a clique because it's not as big as Chicago. So when you go down, most people know each other, and it's like they can smell it that you're not from there. So because of that, they're very snobby. They would ignore you. You can say, "Hey, good afternoon," like in Chicago here, where people exchange like pleasantries. Even though Chicago is a very rough place and highly segregated, but people, you walk past your neighbor. Like even sometimes when I'm on Marine Drive and maybe I have some cars that are going out for rent, people would still say, "Hey, good morning." Arizona, nothing like that.
Yeah.
People just breeze past you.
There's a few people that talk around here. That's what I told my wife. I said, there's just very few people that socialize around here. I don't know if it's. Yeah, I don't know what it is.
It's just like New York. Chicago is becoming the new New York. Everybody's so busy with their lives. People are broke. And that's another thing I try to teach the young men that I mentor. I told them, listen, do whatever you can. You have a race to $100,000. Once you get to $100,000 as a young man, life gets significantly less complicated and more simplistic, and you could do a lot of things relaxed. At 100 grand, it's easy for you to make more money.
Yep. Yep. Building that wealth.
And they listen to me. I remember one of my mentees. He was talking to me about going to school to study criminal justice. I was like, what are you going to do with that degree? What is criminal justice? You have a skill as a body man. You could fix cars, you could paint cars, you could repair cars, you could change an engine. Your brother could do the same. Why don't you guys congregate, invest some money into the garage of your home, and just go all out? Why do you want to go get in debt just to make $60K a year? Even if.
Yeah. And
then after taxes, man, there has to be a class on American history, not the slave part, the business part. Because you see, I think a lot of people are very uncomfortable talking about race, and that's one disadvantage, and that's one catch-22 that's been sold to the American public that they believe in. There's nothing wrong with talking about race. The question is, the more you engage it, the more comfortable everybody is, because now you understand the rules of engagement. A lot of people don't understand the rules of engagement. The average white person thinks they're going to offend a black person. If the average black person thinks that it's not a black or white person's business to meddle in race, I don't think so. I think the more we talk, the more we understand each other.
Unless you believe in what your parents believe. I think that's a lot of the problem in today's society. I don't care if you're white, black, yellow, green. If you got to ditch your parents' beliefs and come up with your own,
you have to not just ditch it, but look at their beliefs and see what doesn't work anymore. Because there's definitely something that doesn't work anymore. Because if we believe exactly what our parents believe, we'll still live in the cave. Someone said, no, living in this cave, this ain't it. There's got to be something better. Then they built a stone house.
Yeah.
Then someone is like, man, this stone house is too cold during the winter time. But let's use mud. Let's put tack. Let's do this. And the war started to advance towards something. And then after that, some guy fell in love with a woman and promised her, you know what? Everybody has a one-story building. I'm gonna put a room on top just to prove my love to you. You know what I mean? Because I always say this to a lot of young guys, right? If you take women and put them to the side, most men will be at a beach in Jamaica eating mangoes, and then watch the sunset rise, and then play with dolphins, and then go back to sleep.
Yep.
Men don't have that need to own so much. I mean, maybe if there were sports cars, yeah, they'll buy a couple. You know what I mean? But there's not much. And even the sports cars, men buy it to impress women for the most part. You know what I mean? They buy it to look impressive, to have an impressive story about them. You know what I mean? So, you know, like
I almost accepted a job in Puerto Rico before I came here. I wish I would have done it and not listened to my parents and her parents, because her parents and my parents were just like, you can't go that far away. You can't. They don't like the fact that I'm up here. You know, but it was that way when I moved up to Cincinnati. They were.
let me tell you something I've learned, right? The best thing I ever did in my life was stop listening to my dad when I turned 24.
Yeah.
The second best thing I ever did in my life was stop listening to my mom when I turned 13.
True.
It made me the man that I am, because I think the problem with a lot of young men today is that they have the inability to be weaned off from their parents. That umbilical cord is still connected. So you say something about their mom, that's why people start fights. And then they lose their life. And then you ask yourself, while you're dead, was it really worth it? Like, could he just insult my mom that one time and just get away with it? You know what I mean? Like, you know? You see, these things bring men to the table of consideration where you can live your life based on calculation. You have to calculate, like, look around you, read the room, and be like, this is not worth it, man. You know, like, yeah. You know what I mean? And that's why I really believe in that saying, like, men should vote with their feet and their wallet. When you see danger, and the danger look, just walk away. Walk away.
Yeah.
I remember one time asking a young lady, she was asking for marriage, you know, and I asked her, why do you want me? Why are you offering me such a bad deal? That was my question to her. Why do you offer me such a bad deal? If I was your son, would you marry yourself? And nobody ever asked her the question in this manner before. And she was blown away. I asked her, like, if you were a girl and I was your son, would you encourage me to marry you?
We see where that ended up.
No. She stuck around, but you know, I kept living my life. I live my life like I'm single. You know what I mean? Like, I am single. You know, because you know, I don't care who I'm with. I don't care if, you know. I think that, and that's another thing in society today. A lot of men like pedestalize women above their pay grade, and that's just detrimental to society. Because not every, like I already told you earlier, like most women are underwhelming in the tune of 60 to 70%. They're just regular people, you know, and they need a lot of help. They need makeup, they need hair, they need nails, they need a lot of fake stuff to even come close to as confident as a man would naked. You know what I mean?
No, that's true.
Shit. Most men are more comfortable in a sauna with other men, just relaxing and having a peaceful time, than in their own homes.
Yeah, that's the problem. If you can't find a woman that gets you that, then yep.
Cincinnati driving now at the Pittsburgh 13-yard line.
Higgins again.
Huh?
Burrow and Higgins are an unstoppable pair.
You know, I never knew the joy of being a man till I worked 80 hours in a week. Just the joy of working so hard and getting so much in return for the hours put in. If any man says there's something more gratifying, they're a liar. The richest man in the world, he even stated that the gratification at its maximum for a man is value of work for every time put in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're a man, you put in 1 hour a week, and you don't produce anything, and you get paid $1 million. The guy that puts in 80 hours a week and gets paid $500 is more gratified than that person.
I agree with that.
Because that's where men derive their joy and value. They
Yep.
feel like the world is working with them, not against them. You know what I mean? You feel like you're making something happen. You know. Is that the guy that used to be with the Chicago Bears?
No, he's
Love.
been with,
No, right?
no, he's been with Pittsburgh for years.
Oh, okay. Do you know how to blow O's?
I could.
That was something I studied and I learned how to do. Because I used to, when I was a kid, I used to watch like Tom and Jerry, and you had the fat cat that would, you know.
Tom and Jerry. We were just talking about that this week with my guys.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, that's funny.
And now that show is on Netflix. And I went back to try to watch it and think I would enjoy it as much as I did. No,
You can't.
It's packed. You know, that was not cartoon for kids. It's like that's adult stuff that we're talking about.
There's a lot of cartoons.
Oh my! You see that they're packed with red pill like ideology and stuff like that. They're just so.
It's been around for years.
It's been around for years. They just tackle the truth head on. You know what I mean? And that's why they can't show those cartoons anymore to kids. You know what I mean?
Or put Teletubbies out there, or the Goofy.
Yeah.
The no nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
So what inspires you to buy another car or to grow? What gets you to what keeps you now from going to another car, or is it a certain level car that you're looking at? Because you're not buying and renting Dodge Neon.
Well, you know, I'm way past Dodge Neon. They don't even make them anymore. But
right.
what? First of all, answer the first question. You said what pushes me to buy another car is how much financial leeway I have. Like for example, a family friend of mine came and bought one of my Priuses, 2016. They paid me $10,000. Most of that money went towards acquiring 2 more cars. So I have a fear in me of, you know, I know what it felt like being broke, like really broke. And when I say broke, I mean under $50,000 you're broke, you know, like, so when I was there, life was very difficult. I remember some days I had to make a dish with $20. I had $20 to go to the grocery store. And let me say this, right? This is a sidebar. If you want to succeed in life, based on my experience, you need to have a period of your life where you sit in your thoughts. You're not doing anything. You're not running helter skelter. You just ask yourself an honest question. I call it come to the altar moment. Like you have to sit down, not do anything. Ask yourself, what do I want to do with my life? How do I want my future to play out? On the day I close my eyes for the last time, what do I want to have left on earth? If you don't have that time, most men that don't have that time never succeed. You see what I'm saying? Because most people are busy just working, going to work, coming home, sleeping, you know, going out to the clubs and hanging out with friends. They never have the time to themselves to really ask themselves some very personal and serious questions that lets them know that they're on their own in this world. Like I always tell the guys that I mentor, one person that is more important, I would even argue more than your family, is somebody that sees your dream and buys into it. Someone that believes in you, that says, you know what, I believe you can do that. Here's how you can do it. How can I help? Is there anything you need? That person is more valuable. You know what I'm saying? Because think about it this way. If you didn't have money, could you run a family? Less than likely. You know what I mean? Most women wouldn't even stay around, especially most modern American women. They set a standard. In most cases, more than 70% are unrealistic. You know, they set a standard and say, this is the bar for the man that I want. 70K and up, 100K and up, 150K and up, he has to have a ability to buy a house, good credit, this, that, on his own car. They litter with all these needles. But they don't know the statistics. They don't know how many men
are at 35K.
No. They don't know how many men meet this criteria. And it's so much more true in the black community. Most people in the black community don't know statistics. I'm telling you this as a member of black. They don't know stats. They don't care about stats. And that's why they operate blindly. The black men know about stats because why? There's a burden to perform. You know what I mean? He knows that if he's broke, he's not going to get no pussy. He knows that if he's broke, he can't travel. He knows that if he's broke, he can't get that Hummer, Escalade, whatever it is that tickles your fancy, the Porsche, whatever it is that you want. He knows that if he's broke, private jet flights are not free. He knows that if he's broke, first class seats are not free. He knows if he's broke, he can't get like a black card, American Express, whatever it is that you want. You cannot get these things broke. With that said, I have to do something. That comes to the ultimate moment. I have to do something to get to my goal. Because most people will not entertain me. Even these days, men are not entertaining other broke men. That's how far this cancer has spread. I'm telling you, I have a hard time getting other black men together so that we could just talk about money and see where it would lead. When I tell them, let's get together, what they hear is, you want to put money together to start a business. And I'm like, that's not what I'm saying. Look at you and I here right now. What is it costing us, really?
Nope, just a little
compared to your income, this cigar is very insignificant. The parking ticket is insignificant. Whatever gas or whatever maintenance that my truck outside ran coming here is very insignificant to the grand scale of things.
Yep.
But they will not do it. Now, tell him you have a couple of girls in your place that he should come over. He would be there faster than a transplant recipient truck or organ donor truck. You know those trucks that carry organs and someone just crashed and they took the organ, they have to run it to the other hospital to deliver it before, because someone needs it before the organ is considered like null and useless. They will show up faster than that truck. I'm telling you this based on experience. I had a friend, the one that told me that, the house is not an investment and the marriage is useless. Well, he's married though. So when we have a culture in Nigeria, elders, when they come around, they always give money to kids, just to motivate them to be more. Because my culture, I'm Igbo. We have a culture that learn one, teach one. Like, if you come up, pull somebody else up. And one of the ways we think pulling somebody up is by offering them money to have something in their pocket to motivate them that whatever it is they're dreaming of is within reach. So when I go to birthday parties, I never buy presents. I used to do all that sucker shit back in the day until I realized, what am I doing this stupid shit for? Why would I buy this guy? I don't know this person like that. I don't know what they want. The last time I know they needed a Chelsea boot, maybe they bought it already. Why would I go get them another Chelsea boot? Why don't I just give them money, which is the universal gift, and they can go buy whatever they want? Why am I trying to live life like we still use calories and, we trade and batter and stuff like that? You know what I mean? So everywhere I show up, I just give them the ultimate, universal accepted means of exchange. I give them cash. Here, go do go buy what you need. You know what I mean? And I think everybody should be like that. So this guy had a property he bought a long time ago. What happened in 2008 happened. Not much appreciation he saw from the property. You know how people buy land? Oh, in 5 years it's gonna be $1 million. In 2 years you're gonna 5x your money, or it's gonna appreciate by 30%. He never saw none of that.
Not nowadays.
He never saw none of that. So he got into a financial pickle, sold the piece of land, took all the money. Guess where he put it? Fisker, comma. He put that fucking money in Fisker. I don't need to tell you what happened to Fisker.
Oh no, I know exactly what happened. The sad part is you got a car.
And you know what I told this fucker? I told this fucker, hey, I'm running a very profitable business that has very positive cash flow. Let's take it all the way and turn it into a car dealership. We don't have to employ people. I would do the work. I would move out of my place. I would live in the car dealership to make sure your investment pays off. oh, I'm going to think about it. You know, we need to come so that we talk in person. And when I show up to talk in person, he doesn't want to move the conversation any forward. He's talking in circles and stuff like that. And eventually, I just thought to myself, I'm like, what is this guy's agenda really? I came to a conclusion. In order not to be sinister, I said he's just full of fear. He's afraid. So I just pushed the agenda myself. And then for a moment, he called me back when he saw that the business was beginning to take off. You know, I went from having one car to having 7 cars. He's like, hey, can we sit down and talk? You know, well, buy me 1 car. So I bought him a car for him to put and see for himself, do his own little experiment. Right before the car was done, he was like, you know what, I don't trust, this business. I don't like to venture into what I don't know. I like to think, boom. Now he ends up, the car sitting on his driveway doing nothing. And you know what that lesson taught me? You would remain the same person you are, if not for the books you read, the people you interact with, and the places you go.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He has not grown. And now, I remember the last time I talked to him, he was very sentimental and, gave me this heartfelt conversation about how the place where he works now, the money's not what it used to be anymore. Obama law changed everything. Obamacare. He doesn't make the kind of money he used to make anymore. There was a time he used to make a shitload of money. I think he used to make in excess of $100,000, $150,000, $200,000. He doesn't make that kind of money anymore. He used to export stuff to Nigeria. That's close to, because Naira has runaway inflation. It used to be 400 Naira to $1, $1 to 400 Naira. Now it's $1 to 1,700. So it's almost 4 times. You see? So what is the other side of that story? At the point that he had this full circle thought about things, I've moved on. I've gone past the 7 cars. I kept growing. And I sat down and thought to myself for a second, what is the benefit of bringing this guy into this business with such an unsettling mindset that he has, flip-flop, very fluid, change at any moment? I say it's not in my benefit to do any kind of stuff with this guy, because it could crumble at any moment. So I just said, let me stick it out myself. I'm going to grow very slowly, but I'm going to learn a lot of lessons along the way. And those lessons are going to come with a lot of jewels that I could hold, and I could always replicate this business anywhere in the world because I've done it from 0 to wherever. You know what I mean? So at that point, I just said, I'll stick it out. He calls me out. I don't call this guy because I've given him so many opportunities so that we could do great things together. We never did. And at this point, I got to a certain age in my life. I took inventory of all my friends, especially when I decided to start taking my business very seriously. At first you're young, you feel you have time, age is on your side, so you play a lot. You do things, but you don't concentrate on what you're doing. Like you have $10,000 in your bank account, you take it for granted. You would easily buy something for $1,000. You would easily do something stupid. You go on vacation. You would easily push work aside for fun. So while I was on that phase, when I was about to exit that phase, I took inventory. I said to myself, I looked through my phone. I said, what value is this guy to me? And what value am I to them? Everybody that took more value from me than they provided, I deleted their number. And then some people still kept calling me. I realized as a man, you can't run from it. And I always tell people this, a man that cannot look you in the eye is a man you can't trust. Yep. You know what I said to myself? I have to talk to these guys and let them know where I stand. I remember having this difficult conversation with some of my friends. I remember this one guy specifically. I told him, listen, you and I are not friends. From today, I want you to just know this, that we're not friends. I would like it if you don't call my phone anymore. If you see me, we exchange pleasantries and you go your way. I've known this guy since high school. I said, whatever it is that we're supposed to do together in this life, it has not materialized for me. And knowing me does you more good than it does me. I think it's time we just sever this relationship because that's a parasitic relationship. Yep. A human being is supposed to be in a symbiotic relationship with another human being. So I told him, just because of this, we can't be friends. You're married now, enjoy your family, enjoy whatever friends you have that would take the deal that you're offering them, and enjoy your life. Because obviously I'm not of that much value to you, so you won't miss out on anything. You know what I mean? I wished him the best, and that was that. And he was like, "Are you serious?" I was like, "That's a heart attack." You know what I mean? And that was it. You know, so now he still has me as a friend on Instagram and all. He just watches my social media, and he still can't believe it that I was serious. But he knew I was serious when he went around and heard from other friends that I called them and
did the same. Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because I think the breaking point for me was when I started the rental car business. It's not that I was asking him to support me. He came into town one time. This guy, when he was buying real estate, I asked him, I was like, you know me, I'm all about business. Can you like give me insight, show me what's going on? Share some knowledge with me. He would always invite me to his house, but he would just put on a movie and just, he would never want to attend to what I'm asking about. And I was pretty straight, like, look at me,
Yeah.
I'm a fucking straightforward guy. Like, I'm as serious as a heart, And after a while, I was like, this guy doesn't want to teach me anything. Why am I fooling myself? So I stopped going to his place. I stopped showing up for him. And I knew he wasn't going to show up for me. But I still entertained him as a friend. So one time he came into town to buy a property. He came to look at the property. And I was already I was selling cars at this time, but I wasn't in the rental car business full well. I used to rent some of my, under the table. I used to rent some of my cars in my lot. And he asked me for a car to use. My friend is in town. I do the car business. Why would they go rent a car from Enterprise? So I offered him a car. He returned this car with no gas. He didn't wash it. He didn't do nothing. He just returned it worse than I gave it to him. And I was like, this is it, bro. You know what I'm saying? And at that point, I was like, yeah, I can't do anything with this guy.
Yeah.
But I didn't say nothing to him at that point. It was later, I think, during a holiday when he was messaging me. He said he was in town, and that was when I just broke this to him. By then, I already called other people, but he hadn't heard through the grapevine that I was calling all these people. You know what I'm saying? It was after I gave him the word, and then somebody else told him, yeah, he said the same thing to me. You know what I mean? And then,
Yeah. Keep your circle small.
Yeah. And then I use this as a teachable moment to a lot of my guys that I mentor. I tell them, if you plan to be rich, just plan that your circle is going to be very small as well, because everybody can go. You know what I mean? Most of the women I haven't married, come on, this, man. Once you pass a certain tax bracket, women they're dime a dozen. They show up in different ways and try to sell you a dream and make you believe that they're an asset. They're full-blown liability. Like, I'm talking about a tanker toy that's leaking oil that has like kerosene in the engine. You know what I mean? Like, so at that point, I just I've seen all these people, and then I just start breaking into people. So once I meet people, I found out that the more money I made, the more honest I became. So I was just straight up with people. Hey, this is my, this is what I expect you to offer me, and in exchange, this is what you get. Do you like it? Can you do it? Most of them can't, but you know what they do? They stick around, hoping that you will change, the rules of engagement. And for a guy like me, coming from where I come from, where shit is real and serious, even God cannot change how I feel when I have my mind set on something.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I just left it like that. So right now I still have, I have a lot of women like, oh, I believe in monogamy, this and that. I can't believe you're polygamous. I can't believe you want multiple. What do you want to? They start shaming you. What do you want one woman for? What do you want? Then I respond. What do you want a man with money for? What do you need him for? Why does a man have to have money? You can have it. There's so many men out there that would gladly have you. Why do you want someone that works hard?
No, that's true. Very insightful.
But you see, most men would not rebuttal. Most men, we've been trained and programmed to just buckle, to cave in and just be like, oh, I guess you have a point. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But deep down inside, he knows what he wants to say. But he's such a beta that he doesn't want to voice his opinion. That's one thing I don't know how to do.
I don't know.
When I'm with a dude, I might not tell them how I feel. When I'm with a woman, I make sure that I know how they feel, especially in America here, because of the way the society is structured. Because if you don't communicate effectively, that's how P. Diddy ended up where he is. That's how Weinstein and all these people ended up where they are. Why is Weinstein in jail when all these women voluntarily came? Why are you having a meeting at 2 a.m. with a man in a hotel? What do you think was going to happen? You think you were gonna have an aha moment or a light bulb moment? Are you guys gonna discover a faster internet or something?
Nope, that's exactly right.
But these days it's labeled as misogyny. Everything is misogyny now. Most people don't even know the definition of misogyny. They just utter it like when psychology class. You know what I mean? I just think I believe in feminism. I love feminism. Here's why I love feminism. Feminism has freed a lot of men. Now you can get sex from a woman without marrying her. Um, you're free. You could do whatever. You could do as you please. You know what I mean? And not only that, you could voice your opinion, especially when you're not in the context of marriage. Like you're still vetting the woman for marriage, and there will be no repercussion. You know what I mean? There will be no repercussion because why? People are telling you, women are conveying through public media that we're equal now. You see what I'm saying?
Nope, that's true.
So what are we talking about here? There's no conversation. Yeah, is this how you feel? I agree with you. When I tell them I agree with them, they're shocked. I remember I met a girl the other day, a young lady. I was eating at Sweet Green. My phone had broken the screen of my phone. I went to Toyota. One of my Prius had died on Marine Drive. I was trying to change the battery, and Turo had unlisted it, so I had to go to the dealer to buy a battery and show receipt. I bought the battery. Coming out, my phone cracked for some reason. I guess the code. So, what had happened? So I went to my iPhone guy to fix the screen. And I asked my iPhone guy, how much for a new iPhone? Do you have the latest iPhone? He said, oh, the new iPhone does not have a SIM card, so it takes a while for it to port. But I have an iPhone 14 that he brought it out. It wasn't a Pro Max. I like the one with the multiple cameras because I used to shoot my YouTube content and stuff like that. And I take pictures for the cars and all that kind of stuff. And then I told him I don't want it. I said, how much to fix my phone? He said $700. And he said he's going to give me a deal. He's going to give me the new phone for $700 plus fix my phone for $780, so that way I could retire this one and now use this as my business phone and the new one as my private phone. And I was like, that sounds good. But at that moment, like, when you want to make, like, it was a lot of money to spend in one day, $780. You know what I mean? I didn't want to spend that money. You know what I mean? Especially not on the phone, And I just thought to myself, and I didn't want to put it on a credit card either. I wanted to pay it cash. I had the money in my pocket, but I didn't want to. For some reason, I just didn't want to part with that money. Not just like that for a phone. And then I told him, let me sit in the car and think about it. So I got in the car. I just drove off. I drove to the Apple Store on North Avenue. Pulled it. Before I went to the Apple Store, I was like, let me think some more. If I even want to go to Apple and get a phone. I pulled into the Sweet Green. I got my food, and the guy that served me, some grumpy young black kid, I don't know what his problem was, he's just throwing stuff on he wasn't serving me. He had something going on mentally. He was done. I didn't want to ruffle his feather, like I didn't want to rub him the wrong way because he was dealing with something I could see. I was going to ask him, brother, is everything okay? But something just told me to leave him alone, So he served my food. I went, sat down. While I was eating, this lady shows up. They served her food, and I was just eating. Then she started, she sparked the conversation with me because I looked at her, because these days you don't know. Like when I walk into a place, someone opens the door, I try to look at the door, because all these shooters and shit, So I look and I hope that's a friend, not a foe. So she started a conversation with me. At the end of the day, it ended up being that she just wanted company. So she sat down. I was like, oh, you could, I pointed to my seat. I was like, you can sit here if you wanted, after we talked for a bit. She was like, oh, are you sure? Oh, I would love that. Then she came, she sat next to me, and then we just continued our conversation. And then after a while, she just liked, then I found out she had kids, she's divorced, all this other stuff. You know what I mean? And then she asked me how I was. I told her I was just trying to, get to a judgment call, but I wanted to eat first just to ponder it a little bit. And then before she left, she asked, we exchanged numbers, but the thing about it was that I wasn't going to pursue because I didn't have to, I gave her my number. I was like, I'll give you my number. I put my number in there, and she left. And that was that. That's just how I move, And after that, I just went to the Apple Store. And, I went over there. They told me that based on all the variables. I cannot get the phone right now. I need my PIN, so that stops me from changing this phone. And then instead for this one, the carrier that I have does not work with Apple. Shit, you know what I mean? So that was how that day was just unproductive, you know. But like, but you see what I'm saying? That's just how women work. I told her exactly who I was. I told her, this is how I roll. I was honest with her. I didn't lie to her, and she was with it. You know what I mean? She sat around. We talked about stuff, and you know, I found out. As soon as she sat down, we started having a conversation. She didn't have much to offer me. You see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people talk good game. Oh, entrepreneur, blah, blah, blah. And then you start breaking it down. And then as soon as you get behind the glass wall, you find out there's nothing there. It's all smoking screens. They make it look like they have this good deal to offer. Like this, like you're missing out on something. And I found out real quick, I wasn't missing out. She's actually wasn't on the record. She's underwhelming, like I always tell you. You know what I mean? It's just how they sell it to you.
Yeah.
They present like it's good. You're missing out. And then as soon as you get in there, you find out you just picked on a liability. It's going to cost you more than you're going to get. You know what I mean?
I don't know. That's
So that's why I say to people, if you have a good one, if you're convinced that the situation you're in is, just stay there. You know what I mean? And other than that, most of them are not offering anything spectacular. They're really not. And this is not to demean women. This is just the truth, You know, there's a small percentage of men are not offering anything spectacular, but that's minority. Because most men are offering a lot.
That's not just minority. It's everything.
And I'm saying like it's a minority of men that don't have much to offer.
Yeah,
because men are measured on performance, so they have a burden to perform. They cannot. You're not gonna get anything, if you can perform. You know what I mean? So, and then if you're an extraordinary man, if you're the one kind of guy that dresses well, you work on your appearance, you eat healthy, you read, you're intellectual, you have a business about yourself, you have provider tendencies, and then you're just on a different league. You can come out here and request whatever you want. You could ask for whatever you want. And that's the beauty. That's what I promote. I tell my guys, be that guy. Be the guy that you don't have to say much because your work speaks for itself. You don't have to convince. Because, like I said, feminism is beautiful. Even I told her, what did I tell her again? I told her that I'm a feminist, that I love feminism. She said, oh man, thank you for saying that. But when I started explaining, she was like, this fucker.
You entrapped me with what you did.
You know what I mean?
That's funny.
I was like, I'm for feminism because men are free now. They can do whatever they want. You know what I mean? They don't have to get married. You know what I'm saying? And she said the same thing before. You see, women are not equal opportunity offenders. They will offend you, but it's not okay when you offend them. And I told her, she said the same thing to me. She, I was like, she was like, oh yeah, and women, that women can be happy now. They don't have to be married or tied to anybody. They can be just single. And I said, so when I made my feminist comment and told her that I love feminism, that I believe feminism is the best thing that happened to me, and that now men are free, she was taken aback. She was like, what the fuck is this dude talking about? You know what I mean? So when I explained, you know what I mean? And I think that's why she still hasn't called me, because she's like, this motherfucker is too advanced for me. You know what I mean? And then even when I dug there, I found out that she was the CPS teacher that dealt with like disabled kids, and she doesn't make much money. So if you come into her life, you're going to be taking on a lot of, exactly. You know what I mean? With her kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She expects you to dish out as much as you dish out to her kid and see them as your own, but you cannot scold them or do anything. She has the ultimate reign. So I'm like, fuck all that. I could give you just one thing. Pause.
I would say I would have told you right away.
Yeah. So I don't have a problem with it. I would engage a woman like that, but it has an expiration date, of course. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's just how this one works.
I think that one's out of gas.
I'm telling you, the men of the 30s, right? The men of the 30s, they will be jealous of what's available to men today. They would kill to be here. I swear to God. You know, they would kill to have what it because now the internet has exposed so many things that a man could come to play the field, go to a foreign country, get married to a virgin, and enjoy his life and live happily ever after. So basically, the fairy tale has tilted towards, with great prejudice towards the men. Like men have it. All you have to do is just make sure you have the financial leverage part covered, and the world is yours, really. Because I remember when I went for the rental car convention, I remember these two guys, an Arab guy and a white guy. He is Jeff. He works for a Lamborghini dealership, but he runs a rental car company out of Sarasota, Florida. And they were both trying to preach to me why I should get married. You know what I mean? And I asked Jeff, why would I get married to one woman when I have 3 girlfriends? And then I asked the Arab guy. After I found out about his dating history, I found out that he was engaged to a gold digger that he eventually pushed to the side in place of a virgin. He went and got a virgin girl that was cultured back home but raised in the United States, and that's who he's married to. He just had his first kid. And Jeff went to Colombia to get a wife. And these are the people telling me about marriage. And now I literally said, I said this to them. If you guys were married to an American woman, right? You would have a dog in this fight. Like, you could tell me all this stuff you're telling me, and I would listen. But you went all the way back home to get a virgin wife. And you went all the way to Colombia to get a virgin, and now you're telling me.
You're trying to give me marriage.
Sit down somewhere. Just sit down. And by the time the conference was done, those two guys, they were glued to me like because they wanted to hear more. Even one of the guys, he still messages me today for like insights on what to do about his rental car when he has issues and stuff like that. Yeah. Jeff, I haven't heard from Jeff. Is happy, and not only I have a bigger fleet than Jeff, so there's not much I could tell Jeff. And Jeff, like, he has this like by the book way of doing things, and me, I'm more like unorthodox. I like to think freely. I like to use common sense. So I was worried that if I brought him to my world, he might panic because he's ex-military too. Jeff is ex-military. So I don't know if you know about military guys. They kind of move like law enforcement. They're like,
I'm ex-military.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. They frown on loopholes and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because they see it as cheating. I'm like, it's not. It's a loophole. It's just a crime that there's no law for. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean? So yeah. Like example, what Nancy Pelosi is doing. All her trading and all this stuff. They said she's like, what is it? She has a 80% trading success.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's no law to arrest her. You know what I mean? So you can hit all you want. You can be mad at her all you want. She's not violating much. You know what I mean? There's actually an Asian guy that dropped out of school to develop an app to mirror Nancy Pelosi's trading history for other people to copy.
I've seen that.
Yeah, it's real.
Online.
It's real, yeah. So you see what I'm saying? So if you're law enforcement, ex-military, whatever, instead of hating on Nancy Pelosi, why don't you drift? You know what I mean? And take advantage. That's it. Just take it. That's me. I won't flat out commit a crime, no. But loopholes, shit. I would go through it till it becomes no hole.
It might be a pain in the ass to figure it out.
Yeah.
But once you got it out,
That's
all
it.
you do is,
That's it.
rinse and repeat.
Mm-hmm. So as far as the growth, like right now, I'm just growing slowly. Like the business I'm in, on average, is like each car makes about $1,000 a month. So it's similar to real estate. I try to buy my cars after they suffered the most depreciation. So I buy cars between 2012 to 2019. My newest car, the Maybach, is 2020. So I stay within that window because you don't want cars that are depreciating. Because as you're making money, it's eating up the money. You know what I mean? So you don't want to buy, like, say, a brand new Maybach 2024 then you rent it in a year. In a year, it makes about 12,000, but in that same year, it depreciates by 20 grand. You lost. You know, you're negative eight grand. So that's how I look at it. So I tried even my first this Range Rover is 2015 or 16. The other one, I have an autobiography, Westminster, you know, executive. That one is 2018 or 19. You know, but that one is renting. You know, is faster. This one is almost just about almost paid off. I think the balance on this one, is 10 grand. That's the balance. So he just came back from rental yesterday, I think. So these are the kind of cars I buy. So the growth is slow, but it's steady. You know, and I've been working on other like clever financing options, ways to bring in cash, but I don't want to over leverage myself with debt. You know, because I'll give you an example, right? Um, with eight cars, in August rental season, I think eight cars, I made close to 20,000. Now imagine someone that has 8 times 3.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Put you in a hole.
It puts you in. So the more you have, the easier you could pay off your debt. So I've been trying to just find a fine line to avoid debt while I grow, without owing so much to anybody. So like most of my cars I own outright, except those major ones, like Maybach, Range Rovers and stuff like that. The Porsche Panamera I own outright, and every other car. So.
And you just keep these out on the street?
Right on the street.
Do you really?
Yes. Because it doesn't make sense to put them anywhere else. Because the beautiful thing about this business is that you can avoid overhead. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and then not only that, I even try to wash them myself. I mean, you see me out there coming out doing, so I try to wash them and keep costs low, because then I know my costs for the soap to wash all the cars for the year, my costs for cleaning, any cleaning supply, right, my costs for air fresheners, my costs for everything. I know my cost. The water is free because I get it from my place. And that's it. And then days that I don't feel like doing it, like, when it's like stupid cold like that, I just go through the car wash. I have a $20 a month payment, which comes out to $120 for the year, $140 for the year, and that's it. And that one payment affords me to take all my cars unlimited to wash any amount of time in a month. You see what I'm saying? So the business is pretty streamlined, but my goal, I think the game changer is getting to that 35, 42 car range. Now you're talking anywhere from $50,000 to $75,000 a month. Because remember, August is the busiest month here in Chicago. And I just gave you the number, 8 cars making about 15,000, 20,000. Then you times that, and you see how many 20,000 just in August alone. If you had a leverage position, you could pay off all your debt just from August. So that's where I'm trying to get to. And I've been trying to communicate with a lot of young guys, and like I have people that I'm teaching how to get, because currently my net worth is right under 300 grand. It was everything, with debt, money, So I cannot teach somebody how to be a millionaire. I can tell you, do what I did and just repeat it 3 times, or 4 times, you'll be at 1.2 million. But then again, people that have that ability will not even listen to me. But the young guys that I'm talking to, these are guys with like a net worth of like 5 grand, 1 grand, 10 grand. So I can guide them to cross the 100. I even tell the guys I mentor, I tell them, listen, yeah, because I don't, my life is not a lie, so I don't want to teach you a lie. So I tell most of my guys, I will get you past $100,000, and that's all I can do for you. I could guide you from 0 to 100,000. I'll show you how to leverage credit at such a minute level, lower tier level, and get you past the 100 grand mark. And then, what is true is that if you repeat what you did from 0 to 100 grand 10 times, you'll be a millionaire. That's not a lie. You see what I'm saying? If you repeat it 100 times, you'll be what 10 million. So the same thing. So that's my mindset, and that's what I teach to my guys. And I rather have, what I've learned is that less is more. I rather have 2 to 3 guys that listen to me that get results than 20 guys and only 5 get results and the other 15 are complaining, either due to laxity, laziness, inactivity, or whatever it is, procrastination. I don't want to deal with that. I want solid guys that do what I say because they don't know and they believe in what I'm telling them and they believe it's going to forge a path for them and they just do it.
Yeah.
So that's why myself personally, I have to keep growing because these guys are looking up to me to guide them down this path because this is a life journey for them. This is not a joke. This is their lifetime that they're investing, So, like the guy that I talked out of getting a degree for, what is it? Criminal justice. This guy, he almost worships me. You know what I mean? Because think about it. Someone that is not related to you, you met this person online. They were able to guide you to a point where you see not just value, it translates to money that goes into your pocket. It's hard not to like that person. You know what I mean? And then they check in on you and make sure you're doing it the way they tell you to do it. They correct you when you're not doing it properly. They guide you. They tell you the next step before you get to the next step. They ask you where you are. How is this going? Have you paid off that credit card? Have you done this? Are you checking your credit card? Are you making sure your credit score is going up? Are you making sure that you're falling under the percentage of credit card usage? How credit works? All this stuff. Nobody did that for me. And that's why I do what I do. Because nobody came to my rescue to teach me the basics. And the people that could teach me, they don't even want to associate. They don't want to, let's be real. As men, we're in competition. But we don't have to be. But most men see the other men as competition. But here's the truth. As much as we want to compete, if we congregate, if you have $10 million and I have $1 million and I feel like buying a Lamborghini and you're a Lamborghini, what does it matter? We're both doing well. You see what I mean? That's why rich people get richer, because they're not competing with the mindset of the poor. Rich people get richer because they're competing because they've already passed a certain threshold. They're not worried about groceries. They're not worried about their rent. They're not worried about the basic necessities of life. They've passed a certain threshold, a certain tax bracket. Like, they don't worry about what poor people worry about no more. Now what they're worried about is just congregating, compounding on their wealth, and just going from there, So that's why I've gotten comfortable with just pushing certain people to the side, because there's nothing we could do together. You can't help me.
That's right.
I can't help you. What are we doing together? You know what I mean?
That's pretty.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's pretty basic, I'm even a believer that no two poor people should be together, seen doing anything. What are you guys doing together? You're both poor. You're both broke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's like my mindset. You're both broke. What are you doing together? What are both of you doing? If you're not constructively trying to get somewhere in life, it's like two people that are sinking, and they're playing board games. Yeah, that's not how you do it. At least you want to deal with someone that has a life raft, at least a life jacket.
Yep.
You want at least one of those kind of person around you. You know what I mean? So,
I don't know. It's pretty interesting.
yeah, life is interesting, but most people don't take a breather to think about it. They're busy working, and that's always one of the things I despised as soon as I came to this country. The people's proclivity to just accept the norm of just waking up and dedicating their whole day to a certain exercise that moves somebody else's agendas way forward than it moves theirs. You know what I mean? Because the truth is that if you put your money up, you get most of the benefit. But most people don't want to put their money up. I have one of my girlfriends. I helped her start a business. When I met her, it was her birthday. For her birthday, I'm into the body shop and body shop business. I have a body shop and car repair business. I fixed her bumper. I told her, you can't be associated with me driving around like that. You know what I mean? Like with the bumper hanging out. So for her birthday, I fixed that for her. And she has never had a man talk to her like that. She's used to men coming to her life, see her bumper hanging out, looking like a raggedy homeless person that somehow got a car, and they just buy her a purse or buy her perfume or buy her some stupid shit that does not add any value to her life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's a hazard. That could cause an accident. She could lose her life, but she doesn't see it that way. So it took a lot of exercise for me to regenerate and reprogram this woman's mind. Then after that, what did I do? I helped her start a business. You know, she was one of these like women that never developed the kind of body that they wanted. You know, they bought into propaganda that a woman should have badonkadonk, you know, stuff nonsense. You know, black people buy into. You know, like I want to say low quality people. You know, that a woman should have all this big butt stuff like that. So she wanted a butt, so she started waist training. I don't know, you know what waist trainers are? This thing that women wear that helps, weightlifters wear too, to keep their core tight, so that they could burn fat faster. So she did that, and then she did like squats too, and you know she developed a nice shape. And then I was having a conversation with her. I told her, well, you know, if you want to be with me, um, I need XYZ to give you ABC, you know, marriage, kids, whatever, how, you know. So this is how we're gonna do it. And I told her, okay, first step, uh, you know, let's take this $500, order different sizes of waist trainers. Let me just run a test with you, show you that it's possible. Because I was telling her, how much do you buy the waist trainers for? She's like $10, $12. And I told her, you can sell it for $60. She said that's impossible. And that's one of the hardest things to do, to reprogram the mind of a poor person. They don't believe in anything. They come from a place where people don't believe in dreams. So they hardly dream. And when they dream, they mostly have nightmares. Things that reinforce why nothing is possible. You know what I mean? So I told her, okay, let's buy different sizes, put some on marketplace, sell, you know, you're surrounded by women, you run into women and you guys have the same conversation, sell to them. The waist trainers come and she could not make the sales. Personality issues. She didn't have that social skills to interact with people and be able to market something to them. So I took her to the club. We did a test run. You know what I'm saying? I showed her how to talk to people. Showed her how to engage people, uh, how to propose sales to people, how to bring people in um, on the terms of friendship, and then convert it into a sale. So that gave her a little bit of confidence. And then but at the end of this exercise, she still tried to tell me that it cannot be sold for $60. I had to go out on my own, sell that waist trainer for $80, sell it to somebody for $100, sell it to somebody for $60, and show her the money that it is possible. And then at the end of the day, you know what I realized? She's just lazy. You cannot fix lazy.
Yep.
Are you understanding me? You can fix broke easily. Lazy you cannot fix, because lazy is the inability to even do what is necessary. You see what I'm saying? So once I realized that she's just a lazy human being, she's lazy with the way she cooks, the way she handles laundry, the way she handles everything in her life. The only thing that gets her giddy is going to her job in the morning. Even with that, she's late most of the time. You see what I'm saying? So, and she even told me one time that if I was a man, I would have been fired a long time ago. That I'm right. Yes.
No, it's true.
You know what I mean? So she was honest enough because what happened was over time she saw the way I operated and how honest I am. It's not that I'm just honest. I just like to see things through a red pill lens, you know, just the way it is in life, in nature. And she's like, you know what, you are right about this. And I tell her, I just want you to succeed. Because if you succeed, you will not be a burden for me. That's all I'm trying to prevent. I don't need your money. I don't need anything you have to offer me. Like this, I have options. I get offered virgins from Africa. Like if I needed a wife, I could get a 21-year-old college graduate that's a virgin right now if I wanted. They send me their pictures every day from Africa. My uncles, they're pushing me to get married, all this stuff. You know what I mean? But I told them I want financial leverage first. Once I feel comfortable with the income I'm pulling in to support a family, then I can go ahead and do that. So I learned at that point that she's just a lazy person. That's something I cannot fix. You see what I'm saying? And she did not know it. She kept trying to push. Maybe if I hang around long enough, he would fold. If I have sex with him, you know, in ways that he's never had before, he will fold. If I do this way, he will. But she kept forgetting the fundamentals that I'm not just, some guy.
You're not yet.
You know what I mean? I'm confident to say this. Mindset-wise, I've risen above the average American. You know what I mean? And I try to get her to say these fundamentals that I want, nothing can change my mind on. These are non-negotiables, And You know, so and the beautiful thing about that was that it enabled me to be very honest with her. And I told her about my proclivity for polygamy, how I'm more inclined to that. I have a strong affinity for multiple women, and it's not just that I want these women for sex. Yes, sex is a diversion that I enjoy, but at the same time I have a concrete plan. If I find myself if I build a polygamous setting, I have a use for every single member of the family. I know what to do with them. Like, think about this business I just told you right now. If I had 3 women, I could have one person running in Georgia, one person in Miami, one person in Las Vegas, someone in Chicago. And that would free me up to move more around the world in search of other opportunities. But this is what I learned from my grandfather. This is what my father taught me. He just did not have enough money to finance it. You see, but I believe I've risen a little bit above my dad. I could finance it, but I still believe that I have ways to go to build more financial package around me to be able to comfortably. Because it's all about comfort. You don't want to stress yourself out. Then the older we get, our health starts to act funny if we're not. So I make sure I incorporate exercise since I still have ways to go. Make sure I'm in very healthy shape so that when this time comes, I can carry out my vision as I see fit. You know what I mean? So, this is not for every man. You know what I mean? I'm a little bit on the colder side. You know what I'm a very cold person, so I can handle this. You know what I mean? Like, I have one. I don't listen to women. I don't at all. You know what I mean? You know what I because here's my argument. Why would you listen to someone that expects you to take care of them? It's like your son trying to tell you something about how to make money, and he has not made it work. Like, if he knows so much, why does he need to tell you? Go out there, go make it happen, and come back and say, "Hey, Daddy, here's $1 million, man." Then I'll be like, "Son, how did you make that?" You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it, and it's usually a shocker for most Americans because they've never seen things from this dynamic before, and the only argument they have for you is shame.
Nope, I agree.
They have they can't tell you, oh, you know, multiple women bring STDs. They have no other argument. It's just shame. Where has any country ever shamed another country out of attacking them?
Yep.
Or where has a man have ever been shamed out of getting rich? You know what I mean? So there's certain things after a certain age, it just doesn't work on you no more. You know better.
Yep.
And you just want to elevate. And that's it. Thanks for coming out, by the way. Like I just I just like cigars. Talked into going to the Porsche dealership to get that 911 with their wife was like, yeah, babe, we should go. Yeah, let's go do it. You know what I mean? So so and I learned yeah, go ahead.
No,
I learned it from my dad, because I remember my dad used to take my mom shopping, and before they walked in, my dad would have a moment of speech for her, like, we're going into this place, here's the budget, you know, and what strengthened my mind was my dad's ability to defy whatever she had to say at the end of the day and stick to his principles. That made me more of a man. And I was like, if he did this to my mom, a woman that he was sexy and loving and making all these affirmations to, I could do shit. People are in trouble out here with me. What I mean? So that's how I felt about it. You know what I mean? So
that's something I think the older you get, you just
yeah. A lot of people are not willing to put their money on the table because like you say, there's this famous saying by this guy called this rapper Jay-Z. He's like, everybody wants to be a boss, but it's time to pay the bills. So everybody wants to be a partner, 50-50. All that stuff. Till it's time to pay the bills.
Yeah.
Because men don't run from responsibilities. Like you right now. I bet you there's also like automatic deductions that come out of your bank account. You know what I mean? There's things that if you don't pay it, everybody's looking at you like, dude, what's up? You know what I mean? So it's the world we live in. I'm not mad at it. I just accept it. You know, and I encourage my guys.
That needs to be. That's everything.
Yeah, I encourage guys, don't be accept it. You know, just move accordingly. Move to your benefit. You see, make sure you're benefiting. Make sure there's a benefit in it for you.
Yep.
You know, don't be a workhorse. Don't be an what do they say? An ass. Don't be an ass. That's just used for, you know, farming. Use. And one of the things I realized is this, right? In this country, men cannot lose in the world. Men cannot lose. Number one, the population of women are more, men are less. Now, if you're a productive man, the more you have as a man and the more productive you and higher up you are, your chances, like, at some stage, it becomes impossible. You have to, like, jump off a building or jump in front of a moving car. You know, that's the only way you can lose. Like, you have to self-sabotage. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's the only way you could lose. But a lot of men don't get it. You know what I mean? That it's so easy to win these days as a man. You just have to do a few things. Read, eat healthy, go to the gym. What's the third thing? Go, you know, just work out. You know, live a healthy life, dress well. That's it. Eat healthy, go to the gym, dress well, read books, or interact. You know, however, you have to be getting some knowledge.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because even brain inactivity has been linked to dementia. If you're not receiving new information and your brain activity is up there, you know. Yeah. Well, touchdown, man.
Yeah, this game's over.
Pittsburgh winning, yeah. So yeah.
I know my cousin's he's loving it right now.
I bet you.
That's what I was looking to see if he was at the game.
Oh, he was at the game. Oh, he didn't pick up probably. He's over there yelling and screaming.
Oh, I'm sure he is. He's a big Steelers fan.
So you personally, like, what is the trajectory? Do you own your own business or? Okay.
Nah.
So you're contracted to these guys. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, our goal now, I say my goal, our goal now is, you know, we're soon to be empty nesters.
Oh, that's good.
We want small house.
That's it. Just, you know, be reasonable.
Right. We don't.
Because
we never, and thank God she's never been one to keep up with the Joneses.
That's great. You see, that's why I think you're married to a good woman.
Yeah.
Because most women are unreasonable.
And we've got small groups of friends.
That's good.
You know,
keep it that way.
Yeah. We don't.
Keep it that way. Keep it that way, because you said comparison is the thief of joy. Once you start to, oh, they have that, we should have that.
Yeah, no.
Look how they live in. Hey baby, you know, Joy and Jim just came from a vacation in Bahamas. You know, it would be nice to go. All kind of stuff, you know. And this is someone that is exposed to the numbers. She knows what numbers you guys are doing. She knows your plan. She knows where you're headed. And she's bringing all this. You know, I really think these days it's not very hard to if you're a man that is informed. That's why I say information is power, not knowledge anymore. Information. If you're a man that's informed, vetting a woman is not the hardest thing to do anymore. It's so easy now. There's key words that she says and lets you know her mindset. You know what I mean? You know, but unfortunately for some men, they find out after 2 marriages.
After that, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and that goes back to what I'm saying. That's why I tell you, in America, unconsciously, we're in a polygamous setting. Donald Trump is a polygamist.
Yeah.
It's just serial polygamy. From first wife to second wife to third wife to fourth wife. You know? You can't convince me otherwise. Well, they want to tell you otherwise. that, oh, no, monogamy works and shit like that. For who? The divorce rate is at 80% or 70%, wherever it's at. It's in hell. So if you think about it, if you and I had a 70% chance of dying if we came here, would you want to come
Oh,
here?
yeah, I know.
You know?
I think that's the whole change in America. Nobody used to get married.
It's not necessary anymore.
That's why
When I
nobody
say this, a
wants
lot of my guys get offended. You're free. You're free. Back in the day, you have to be, how do they say it again? You have to be a bona fide man. You have to be bona fide to be able to get a woman. No, you don't have to. You could lease her. You could rent her. Some of them will give it to you for nothing. You know what I'm saying? I used to say it this way, like if pussy was traded in the stock market, it would be at somewhere between $25 to, it would not exceed $60. Yes, there's the outliers, but stocks that go to the moon are not the norm in the stock market. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's funny.
So that's how I look at it. I just tell men, focus on yourself. You attract better. It will come to you. You know what I mean? So that's why me personally, I take my appearance very seriously. I take my health very seriously. The things that matter, I take them very seriously. The things that go in my body, I take very seriously. My exercise very seriously. The way I dress, what goes into my mind, I take very seriously. That's why I had to get rid of some friends because I didn't have anything meaningful that was going into my mind. You know what I mean? And not only that, it's for their benefit too. Because you don't want someone sitting over here feeling cheated out on, because you're in their life. Every time you come, you benefit, but they don't get anything in return. You know what I mean? And it's not like they're asking for much. They just want something as little as knowledge. You don't get better than that. When you have someone that sees just knowledge as an even exchange, like you could come into town, use any of my rental cars for free, just give me some knowledge.
Right.
That's the cheapest.
Like your buddy.
You know what I mean? That's the cheapest thing. The cheapest, how would I say it? Trade exchange ever. I think if you look at it pragmatically, he's actually cheating me. So that's why I resorted to YouTube. I watch a lot of YouTube financial channels to learn a lot of stuff. Because I don't have a lot of friends. I stick to myself because most people don't. I've dabbled. I've tried a lot. That's why for me, it's very easy for me to make friends because I always try to see what people know, what they could teach me, and what I could teach them. Because I have this one saying that guides me in life. From the moment I meet you, I want to leave you a better person. I want to add some value. So that's how I move in life. I make sure that whoever I interact with, I leave them a better person. Information, a truth, a repeal moment, an aha moment, something I give, that you just realize, okay, I never thought of it like that. And if I can do that, I believe I'm somewhat successful. So, and that's one of the reasons I started my YouTube channel, so that I can just bring some of this conversation to light, so that, I don't know how it is in the white community, but in the black community, a lot of boys are lost. They're not turning to men, because first of all, their mother's feeling robbed them of the interaction with a man in the household. So now they're raised by this woman. The woman cannot raise a man. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that we don't say out here because, you shouldn't say that. It's misogynistic. You know what I mean? So they're raised by this. They don't know some of these epithets that I go through with you. Why it's important to look a certain way, eat a certain way, exercise, read, interact with people, respect people, know how to function in society. Nobody explains to them, this is why he's saying that. So you're about to retire, yeah?
I don't know what we're going to do.
But you're about to, right?
Yeah.
How long?
I don't know.
You're probably going to move to Florida.
No,
you're not going to do Florida.
I'm
Washington State or something? Minnesota?
Rico.
Puerto Rico. You're what? You're an extremely
St. Lucia.
Oh, I see. Costa Rica, something like that. Tropical.
That's where we're. I don't know. That's where we're at.
Okay.
Or I could find some place.
All right.
In the middle of nowhere.
When you say middle of nowhere, what do you mean?
Tennessee, North Carolina.
Okay. I love North Carolina. I have a family friend that's in the military. I went for his retirement party. He lives in North Carolina. I tried to convince him, right, to come in with me in this business and let's go all the way. But he's one of these like investors. Like he's scared. You know how some people move in fear.
That's how
Like when they don't understand what they're doing, it's new to them. They don't believe it. Like a lot of people missed out on Bitcoin because they didn't understand what Bitcoin had to offer. I almost became a bit like seriously what like. Let me tell you my Bitcoin story. I had a friend. He came to me. He's like, "There's this thing called Bitcoin, right? We can, like I think it's gonna go somewhere." And I was these are my exact words to him. His name is Wale. I said to him, "Go find out how we can put some money into it. Come back to me. Let's do it." He went and bought some Bitcoin, but he never came back to me and told me. And today, this dude is broke as shit. Because even when Bitcoin went up to about 8 grand, he thought that was it. And then he just blew all his money. You know what I mean? And now he's back driving taxi and stuff like that. And I remember giving him this speech here. People hate it when you tell them the truth. America has changed. People hate it when you call their ass out, especially men. I think men are the problem in this place, not women. I remember calling his ass out and telling him, "Bro, what is wrong with you? Why can't you be organized enough to just have a target? Do this taxi business like your life depends on it. Go all out for 6 months, pile up 100 grand, and get the fuck out of this business." Let me tell you where he lost me. So this guy, he listened to me for a little bit, came up with about $20,000 or so. He joined my business. Then I was just flipping cars. I was doing the rental, slowly. Introduced him to the business. He listened to me like a 3-year-old child. Started doing well. Had his own place. Had a couple of cars that he was flipping on selling, making good money, driving his taxi, making decent money. Out of nowhere, this dude got married. And you know the worst part? I'm cool with marriage. He married the wrong chick. There were 2 women that he was supposed to marry. I told him, go with the Hispanic girl. The Hispanic girl is better. She has more decorum. She is more inclined to help you succeed in life than anything. Why did I say that? When I introduced him to the car business to start flipping cars, the Hispanic girl gave him his first $5,000. I want to say about $7,000 to buy her a car, an Audi Quattro, 4x4, stuff like that. He bought this car, delivered it to her. None of his other girlfriends or girls that he was in touch with ever supported his business. I told him, marry this girl. She was pretty. I would even confess to a point I wanted her for myself. You know what I mean? I thought she was that bad. And I was asking him, well, if you're going to get rid of this girl, can I, can you pass her off to me? You know what I mean? That's how bad she was. But out of respect, I just stayed away. I was like, this is his shenanigan, Married this girl. PhD student, doctoral student from Haiti. I've never had a good experience with anybody from Haiti. I'll say that to you. Like I would say it I would say it on CNN. You know what I mean? So this girl controlled this guy's life. Out of nowhere, he stopped showing up for business. Out of nowhere, this dude stopped showing up for business. I would tell him, hey, it's time to go to the auction. He'd be like, oh, my wife, this and that. And this woman controlled his life to the point that at the end of the day, she divorced him. And not only did she divorce him, even after he supported her, she almost dropped out of school from getting the PhD. She was about to give up. This dude, if you know Nigerians, we Nigerians, like, school is very important to us. We prioritize education because there's so much ignorance that surrounds where we come from. So we try to break out of that ignorance, that bubble of ignorance. Yeah. So this young lady, he supported her through, even bought her a car. Out of her selfishness, she rejected this car. This car got impounded. So he lost money. Man, this dude kept taking L's from this chick. At the end of the day, after she graduated, she divorced him, made a video about him on YouTube. Check it out. And by the time she divorced him, he has lost out on his place because he gave up his place when he moved in with her. And I warned him, I said, this is such a bad idea. Don't move in with a woman. You know what I mean? He moved in with her, stopped doing his car business, barely drove his taxi, and at the end of the day, she dumped him. And then only that she wrote a letter to the immigration, the INS, reporting him for marriage fraud. And then he had to go to court for that too. And this chick was like over heels that, oh, I love you and we're meant to be together. And I told him, listen, it's not a woman you
That's
could
a
go anywhere.
hard lesson, man.
And then after that, he still didn't learn his lesson. So one day he called me. Like, I really sat down, plugged my phone to a charger, and gave him the business. You know what I'm saying? There was nothing I didn't call him under. So I called him a loser. I told him about himself. I told him, dude, you've been losing. You've been losing your whole life. You see the light, you just don't want to call it as is. Think of all the women you've been with. Which of them have added value to your life? The one woman that you could have married that added what seemed like value. You could not see.
Pissed it away.
You pissed it away, and now look at you. You know what I'm saying? And he did not pick up my phone for like months. That's how you know you've told them the truth.
Yep.
He did not pick up my phone for months, and then after that, he answered my call, and then we talked for a bit, and then he started giving me his progress report. Apparently, me being nice to him did not work, but me being brutal hit a nerve, and he started moving. He started moving. You know what I mean? Now he has a lot of motion now. You see? Why? But it took me being brutally cold and ready to lose his friendship. I was ready to lose his friendship that day. Even the girl that was with me in the living room, she was in the bedroom when I was talking to him in the living room in the middle of the night, like 1, 2 a.m. She was like, why would you say such a thing to somebody? I was like, no, this fucker needs it. This medicine.
Yeah, that's right.
He needs it. I think the whole America needs a red pill. You know what I'm saying? The whole America needs to be told the truth because, you know what I'm saying? Because the society is falling apart. People actually thought that this lady was going to win. People actually believed that a woman with such inexperience was going to lead the United States of America, such a strong country with strong people with such conviction. That is sacrilegious, bro.
That poor guy.
That's me. If you want to get it cold, you want to get reality, you want honesty, that's what I have to offer. If you want the beta male blue pill shit, the simpness, just talk under the radar. No, I'm not for that. And I think that's why a lot of men radiated, even white women, they radiated to Donald Trump because he called things as he saw it. And I think that's what's missing in the United States. Manhood is missing in the United States. You know what I mean? Where men get penalized for talking the way nature presents them. Lion doesn't ask for excuse to eat meat. It just does. No man should ask for an excuse to exist. It just does, It just does. It just does. So the game is over. Not bad. That was the guy that took the hit, right? Look at him. He's starting like a champ. Sheesh. Yeah.
I'm glad we came out.
Yeah. Whenever you're ready. This we should do this anytime. Mm-hmm.
This is a good, reasonable cigar.
Bro, me personally, for me, it's not about the cigars. This you could smoke on the corner over there on Wilson. This I can smoke in my living room. It's just sometimes when you talk to other people, it's therapy unbeknownst to you. There's a certain level of resolve that your brain goes through to recalibrate so that you measure your societal norms against somebody else's and see if you guys are aligning based on what you're seeing in media, in popular beliefs, in pop culture. Iron sharpens iron. That's my belief. And in this case, a lot of men are not sharp anymore. They need to be in alignment with other men so that they can sharpen each other and know how to move through society. And I believe that the more dangerous and in control men are, the safer it is for women. Because I once told one of my girlfriends, I told her this, right? I told her that women shouldn't be scared of men. You want him to be your monster. But do you want him to be a monster? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Here's why you want him to be a monster. You want a man that's ready to kill to defend his family. That's not a normal man.
Yep.
He has to be extraordinary. He has to have the mind to take another person's life that's coming to take the life of his family. But he's your monster. They just can't stand it. They want you to be. And you know what it is? I think it's been such a while that danger has faced the average American woman. If they were in Ukraine, I bet you they would beg to differ. You know what I mean? If they were in Syria, they would beg to differ. If they were, even Israeli women right now get it. The women in Gaza, the women in Iran, they all get it. Oh, African women already got it a long time ago. But they might still need a little bit of alignment over there. You know what I mean? That's just what it is about. I always, like I said earlier, the money is in the conversation. You interpret the money how you want it. Currency, social currency, relationship-wise, how you move through society, how you interact with other people, how you manage your family. Sometimes, even as a married man, you need to come outside of your comfort zone and hear what other people are doing and how they're operating in society and seeing the experiences they're having for you to recalibrate and say to myself, oh, I'm doing just fine. Oh, well, I'm off to the right. I'm off to the left. I need to come back to the center. That's what it's about. You know, back in the day, men used to go to the bar and get punched in the mouth, and they come home and told their wife, you know what I mean? And they know what not to do next time. Or they went and got stronger, you know what I mean? Yeah, but these days, suckers go out and come back whole, and they talk a lot of shit, So that element of fear is not there anymore, that danger, that threat, there are no monsters out here anymore. And because of that, people are just weak and moving around as such. You know what I mean? So when you see a little boy fighting, people tend to stop that. They inhibit that. They tell him that's not a good trait to have. But that's something that could save his life one day. That's something that could make him exceptional. That's something that could prevent him from being bullied. That's a trait that could actually help him go through life comfortably. But we look down on that. You know what I mean? But then they put on a dress. We applaud that. You know what I mean? We take them to the gate, the pride parade and stuff, which is to each their own. But I'm just saying, we need to be mindful of what we want to, who we want to raise, because that's who we're gonna get. You know what I mean? The kids we raise are the adults we're gonna get. You know what I mean? So if you raise weak men, weak boys and weak children, they're gonna grow up to become weak men. I mean, look at Prince Harry. The blind man could see that it was gonna end up the way it did. But look at him now. He looks like a fool.
Yep.
For what? The divorcee that is light skinned mixed with some black. That's what you traded all this other stuff over here on the right for? What a loser. I think we should start calling men by their real name when they're a loser. When you're a loser, we should tell you you're a loser. And I think that's what ticked my boy off when I called him a loser.
What lit his fire?
Huh?
What lit his fire?
Yeah. He called me up. He's like, oh, man, remember that laptop I told you I needed for my IT? I finally bought it. He was telling me about all this, And I thought to myself, this is good. This is good. You know what I mean? And we've become this society where people just want to be praised and adored. We give, participation trophies and all this bullshit. No. There's a first place. There's a second place. There's a third place. And there's everybody else.
Yeah.
We should let people know this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they've told kids it's okay to be last. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with you.
It's okay to put on a show.
Yes. Yeah, there is something wrong with you. Something significantly wrong with you. You know what I mean? So if I had my way, at the age of 8, every kid in America goes to Africa.
Yeah.
At the age of 8, they go to Africa. They spend 6 months to a year. Then they come back.
I have a lot of appreciation.
I promise you, Elon Musk will be in last place.
No, that's probably true.
I'm telling you, man. Elon Musk will be in last place.
Everybody needs to go. Actually, maybe they don't need to do a 4-year enlistment. The 2-year enlistment, just grow up.
Yeah. Military
breaks you down.
Military is good. The thing about it is this, right? The way the world is structured, I don't even think you need the military to grow up. Yeah. You just need to move around. You need to experience, be around men.
Yeah.
Yes, military makes men. You see what I'm saying? But even the military today, they're softening it.
Oh my God. I couldn't even.
So nothing is safe. Are you understanding me?
Yeah.
Nothing
I
is
could
safe.
not even. I don't think I could serve today.
Yeah. Nothing is safe anymore. They have officers in lipstick and man, let's not talk about that. You know? Yeah, whenever you're ready to leave, let me know. If you still
I know
want to
you got to
stay.
meet with your friend, but you hadn't even touched your cigar.
Oh, no, this is not, I usually don't smoke all of it, you know. I just, I take it easy. I take it easy, man. I'm an easygoing guy. Mm-hmm. Like me, if you see me at the club, I'm buying liquor for everybody, but I'm not drinking. I don't drink.
Same.
I don't drink. Man, it's a bunch of people on here. I didn't expect this many people. Jesus.
Well,
Wow.
that's good.
Even my cousins from Africa, they're all here.
Yeah.
Oh, my phone is about